6 o'clock, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Yesterday, the Jets traded quarterback Justin Fields to the Kansas City Chiefs in exchange for a 2027 sixth-round draft pick pending a physical. The Jets are all but paying $3 million of Fields' guaranteed $10 million salary, saving the Jets more money rather than if they had just released him. The move comes a week after the Jets acquired Geno Smith from the Raiders. Also, six-time Pro Bowl cornerback Darius Slay is calling it a career, announcing his retirement from the NFL after 13 seasons yesterday via Instagram. Slay won one Super Bowl as part of the Eagles back in 2024. In the World Baseball Classic yesterday, Venezuela beat Italy 4-2 in the semifinal. They'll face U.S. tonight with first pitch at 7 o'clock on Fox. Mets pitcher Nolan McLean will get the start on the mound for the Americans, and Diamondbacks pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez will start on the mound for Venezuela. In Vols football news, Tennessee started spring practice yesterday, and when asked about the quarterback battle between freshman Faison Brandon and redshirt freshman George McIntyre, head coach Josh Hypel said, quote, "Don't expect a guy to be named here during the course of spring ball. I think it's important that all the guys in the room learn and grow throughout the course of the spring. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into your Tuesday morning on 104.5 The Zone. Good morning. Hope you're staying warm. On a frigid March the 17th morning in Music City, we welcome you to Ramon and Will. 615-737-1045 is our number. What are the Titans looking for at receiver in the NFL draft this offseason with Calvin Ridley back in the mix? Austin Price joins us at 8:20 as always. Taylor Zarzer, the voice of the Titans, in studio at 9:20. And a Foster 5 of top storylines heading into spring practice coming up here in 15 minutes on Tuesday, March the 17th. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Oh, my gosh. I thought about it yesterday and did not even consider it this morning because I was just in that mode. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
God, I didn't wear a
We live in the South.
green.
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't. Only in like elementary school. I used to love it in elementary school. Do you hear me?
And you can't even drink Guinness in elementary school, so that's crazy.
You cannot. I guess I'll find a way to have a Guinness today then, man. The nitro beer. Either way, I saw that in the chat. And when I spoke about it yesterday, I was telling somebody, I was telling my wife. It's like, technically, we can fully celebrate St. Patrick's Day. She's like, what do you mean? And RJ, my oldest son's on spring break. We were sitting there having a bite after working out. And he was just like, what do you mean? I said, hey, I'm 17% Irish. When I tell my wife, kiss me, I'm Irish.
17%?
I did my 23andMe.
Okay.
Irish. Crazy. Threw me for a loop, too.
Interesting.
My grandmother was super light skinned, like very fair skinned. So I always wondered why. And maybe the Irish part is where I turn red in the summertime as well. I don't know. What I'm telling you is this. I looked it up, and whether 23andMe, I know they went through a big case not too long ago. I forget what it was over, but
privacy, I think.
It might have been privacy, legitimately, but it checked me in at 17% Irish, man. So,
interesting.
Hey, I said and I mean it. Hey,
okay.
Shout out to my people.
Okay. Yeah, never really been a big St. Patrick's Day guy. I don't know. I just living in the South my whole life. I just don't feel like it really hits the same here.
Me either. Even the parties on campus, I don't know if they were that crazy. And maybe it was because of this. It was always spring practice for us. So we weren't out kicking it hard anyway. Even in Pittsburgh, it got busy in Pittsburgh. I would say that. The northern region of America, yeah, it definitely does. You will see the Irish have a great time up there too. Irish descent. I love the horns. Which
yeah, see, I feel
stuttering,
nothing.
Mo. Which instrument is that?
The shillelagh.
Shillelagh? Is that a real? Of course, you would know that one. Will.
No, I don't know. I sounded confident.
Yeah, okay. It really sounded very confident. But yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day. I know Chicago dyes the rivers green or whatever today as well. So
yeah,
we're in it.
I even unintentionally wore like a faded green, so I can't get pinched. I mean, I wasn't thinking about it when I put this on. It was just clean.
But, you know. I had all these plans to wear something green, and I am. I'm just a representative. That's all it is.
That's a shame.
That's a shame.
You mentioned spring practice starting and what that was like for you this time of year. No, we're going to do a Foster 5 here in 15 minutes on the top storylines of Vols spring practice, which got started yesterday, and hear from Josh Hypel, who talked about the quarterback battle and all these things. But what do you remember most about this time of year as a young player trying to break through Philip Fulmer's offensive line?
Man, two versions of it. The first version of it was trying to figure out how I'm going to compete, where I sit on the depth chart. I'll never forget, we broke into the facility one night around this time of the year to see where we were on the depth chart, like my freshman class. Because back in those days, of course, you didn't have any boards or monitors, anything like that. And, you didn't have any digital, so they wrote everything up on the whiteboards and everything.
How did you break into the facility?
There was a door that was always open that you can get into, and you can go upstairs, like the magnets that you can, the magna locks that you.
One of those where you like pull one, then pull the other really quick.
Yeah, we could get upstairs and stuff like that. We were also taking Gatorades as well to take back to the dorm and stuff. But it was trying to figure out how to practice. How far is too far? I know we got spring, but how much do we compete? Like, the first year or so, like, it was such a blitz, Will. Like, it was nonstop just because the speed of the game was a little bit different. Now, I say that, like, nowadays athletes going into college, they're a little bit more savvy. They train differently. They understand the game a little bit different as well. For us, there was really, I felt like a real adjustment. I was in between playing tackle, right tackle, left tackle, trying to figure that out as well. But it was just trying to compete. I had just had a surgery, too, until going into my first spring. So I was trying to hit the ground running. Really didn't do that awesome that first spring. I did play well enough. I ended up starting the first game my redshirt freshman year. So I did good. But I was
most improved one year, right?
Yeah, I got it twice. So I missed it, and I ended up getting it that freshman year. I got it then, my redshirt freshman year. 06, I was pledging, having a great time. The 06 year was bad for me, okay? But I felt like I still had a good spring. I'm pretty sure I was in the doghouse because Coach Fulmer didn't like guys pledging at all. It just distracted you from football is the way he looked at it. Shout out to Kappa. With that being said, so that was survival my first 2 years. That third year, it was just, my mindset was I'm draft eligible. I got to go. And I was on a tear every single day in practice. Because I understood the game a little bit better. I understood competition. And then I also had a little bit of regression. I felt like my second year. And I said, never again. So at that point, Will, I ain't going to say some of my teammates hated me because I don't want to make it seem like that. But when it came down to what practice was supposed to look like, I was pancaking guys.
You were doing a little extra.
One-on-ones. It got to a point to where only guy, I can back this story up, only guy that would go against me in one-on-ones was Rob Ayers. Nobody else would.
Future first-round pick.
And Coach Fulmer
friend of the program
would just put me up front, and it was go time. Whoever the D lineman was that was trying to get their ass kicked, it was on from that point in time. I drove a dude, Will, from one-on-ones on the middle of the practice field all the way to the fence. And
like Michael Orr on The Blind Side.
I'm so serious. And at that point,
you hosted on a visit to Tennessee.
But I won Most Improved again. And it was hard not to give it to me that year as well. And that was my first year, like fully opening the season as a starter. So it was figuring it out at first, just happy to be there. And then it turned into a lead type of situation. And that was that 07 year as well, in which probably one of the best years we had until Hypel came along, to be quite honest.
The season, you guys, gave up 2 sacks in the entire football season?
Yes. And everybody trained hard that year, too.
Yeah, sure.
Like, it became a real understanding of, like, the standard was going to be set. And also, I got to give a lot of credit to our guy, too, Coach David Cutcliffe. He changed the standard. Coaches that come in with a mission and understanding how to deliver it to the team and also show them how to execute it was the differences I felt like in Coach Randy Sanders versus Coach David Cutcliffe. And Coach Sanders was a great play caller. Awesome guy to be around, but the direction that Coach Cutcliffe gave us in that offense in 06, 07, was elite. And I longed for that the moment he left. there was like clarity that he gave us as well, and we felt like a real football team. This is not the diss Dave Clawson, Coach Randy Sanders, none of those dudes. But when you got a great coach, the way you follow and want to lead, like go for them, it's just totally different. Like it matters, and I felt like that was the difference in my first 2 years and like my last 2 years. My last year with Coach Clawson as offensive coordinator was just a wash. Incorporating a new offense in training camp is never the way to run a team, and 5 and 6 is what you turn into as well.
Especially when it was that different.
Yeah, it was. The offense didn't match the personnel, not even a little bit. The way we're watching professionally, the Titans kind of guide them ways into what they want to be as an offense. We immediately did a 360, and what the spring offense was to what the summer offense was, and no wonder guys had tails on game day in the fall of 2008. We were trying to figure out what the offense was as well, and I hate that year. I shouldn't hate my senior year, but I hated almost everything about it except for having my son, RJ.
Yeah, and you were switching sides of the line. I mean, in the same way Vandy has the big tackle and the quick tackle. That was one of the first iterations of that from Dave Clawson and the Clawfence in FBS football back then. I want to know more about you breaking into the facility, though. Did anyone catch you? Like
they did not.
Did y'all get in trouble for this?
No, they didn't.
How, with the amount of cameras there are in this building, are y'all not being like caught for doing this?
Most times they weren't on.
Maybe they knew you were doing it. They just saw exactly what you were doing. They're like, oh, all right, that's good intentions. Move along.
It would be probably what it was. Nobody said anything to us, though. Nobody said anything to us.
That's crazy.
I'm not sure if security was what we thought it was, is what I would say. Because somebody would have said something, should have said something, and nobody did.
Interesting. Yeah, we could always get into the facility when I was there, so much so to the point that I may or may not have had friends who were around the facility the night that Rick Barnes was rumored to be leaving for UCLA, trying to find him. I don't think they never actually worked, but we could get in there whenever we wanted to. It was just like, obviously you couldn't go like watch football practice, and when I don't know. There were certain times even during practice where you weren't allowed to watch what the football team was doing.
That's true.
So we couldn't go get nutrition from the other corner of the facility after we had just done like a 10-mile run out in 90-degree heat or whatever. No. If the football team wasn't playing well, we couldn't go get nutrition because then we had to walk around that little gray path from like the length of the field to then the width of the field in the end zone.
Yes.
To go get the nutrition bar stuff. It was just like, hey, no, y'all can't get nutrition today. Football's practicing inside.
Who was the guy? Who's the coach? Was it Dooley?
No, I was not there with Dooley.
Oh my gosh.
That was a Butch Jones thing.
Oh, that's so.
As soon as they started losing a bunch of games, like we lost privileges because that's the cross country team's fault for sure.
Of course it was.
The football team is losing games.
But again, you see the differences in like coaching styles and just like coaching mentality. Like you can't be that, I guess, skittish as a coach to where you just scared of all intel getting out. Like, know your system and your players are prepared. That's what I would tell any coach.
But what about this Vols spring practice? It's coming up next. They foster 5 of the top storylines of spring in Knoxville. After this, on Ramon Will. Ramon Will, the 104.5 The Zone, live here in studio for the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. Tennessee football spring practice here already. Football's back in Knoxville. Josh Hypel speaking with the media yesterday. You'll hear from him on the quarterback battle in just a few moments. Ramon, you've got a Foster 5 for us on the top storylines of spring ball. Let's start at the bottom at number 5 as we work our way up to really the obvious number 1 storyline of spring practice.
Yeah, it has to be the wide receiver room. Now that they got a lot of reps, how do you delegate who's going to be that third or fourth guy? How's your Darius Jackson play a part in it? Tristan Keys as well. What is the growth this year in draftable years for Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley? How do you get production? And the other part as well for the wide receiver room, to me, continue to evolve and kill the stigma of this offense being what some still describe it as gimmicky. That, to me, I think, since you got the talent, you got the production, you had 3 guys last year with 700-plus yards. The first time in a very long time that accomplishment has happened. So you know the proof of concept is there. Where does Hypel continually grow in that room with the talent that he has and the dudes that you can just count on a day-to-day basis, or weekend-to-weekend basis to me. And especially when you got a 5-star in Tristan Keys, where do you start to incorporate him? It's fascinating because I don't know if we've ever, and I'm thinking back on recruiting classes as well, but never when I played had 2 5-stars in the room, no matter the age, at wide receiver. You got Mike Matthews and you got Tristan Keys, both. Like, this is can we be honest, an Ohio State problem. This is a Texas problem, a LSU problem, a Bama problem. I don't know if the Vols have been this rich at wide receiver talent in a very long time.
I mean, really, you're going back to, and these guys weren't 5-stars, but one of them was the number 4 receiver in the country, number 23 player in the country. The other was the number 5 receiver and number 30 player in the country. You're talking about Derek Rogers and Justin Hunter.
Yeah.
That's kind of the company you're keeping in terms of highly touted receivers playing together on the same football team. And obviously, you know the sad story with Derek, who was asked to leave said football team and never really totally met his potential at Tennessee. But that's kind of the best comparison that I can come up with off the top of my head, honestly.
It is. I'm thinking of maybe Robert Meacham, Jason Swain. I know
that's probably the best comparison.
The 2 that really stand out, because you talk about Stallworth. And you got to really go back since the last time the Vols had this amount of riches at wide receiver.
And the next closest most recently would probably be Josh Malone and Marquez Callaway.
Yeah.
But Malone was so much older when Callaway got there. In terms of 2 young receivers who were so highly recruited and highly touted out of high school.
Yeah.
This is the best it's been in a long time for Tennessee at that position. The question then is Tristan Keys good enough and impactful enough in the spring and through the summer and fall to start right away?
Yeah.
What's your hunch on that?
I personally don't think he will, because the way I've heard Hub speak about him, and also Austin and the times we've had him and talk about, he's got some catching up to get to. But most 5-stars are going to start to get some burn. I'm not sure what his number's going to be. If he gets 400 yards this year, I think that's a great year for a 5-star coming out when you got 2 older guys. And I like to see that be a part of it. But that room is deep, man. I know Travis Smith Jr. is a player that won't burn. He feel like he's earned his keep. Let's just say I talked to a relative last year at a restaurant that I was sitting in, and they want to be a part of this as well. How does Hypel manage these guys? Now, again, you have to earn that. But here's the other part as well that you got to recognize. You are in recruiting bids with, say, a guy like Travis Smith out of Atlanta. You want to keep that pipeline open, and balancing that despite talent or management of the room and the way the offense is set up, more than just, throwaway time. So those are the things that I'm watching. And also not just him. M. Dort, also a transfer that's coming in as well. They've got some experience behind them too. So it's going to be that type of understanding I want this team to have. There's some veteran side of it, and then there's also the youth talent that you just kind of got to roll with as well.
Yeah, Travis Smith was the number 10 receiver in the country, according to Rivals, coming out of high school in Atlanta that you mentioned. And Rodarius Jackson out of Memphis in Sheffield is the number 30 receiver. But, I mean, I think anybody who saw him on the field last year understood what they liked about him.
Can I say about him as well? Rodarius does not look like a regular, freshman from last year. He's almost an avatar, just not as tall, and he's got height on him. I saw him up there for our mentor-mentee program that Duval's football program is running that I'm a part of, and I thought he was a linebacker. He could be that type of, but he's quick, he's big, he's powerful. His hands, Will, are the size of polar bears, man. This is a great athlete, man. Great-looking athlete.
Number 4 on your list is what?
Number 4 on my list is, and I'm showing love to the defense, okay? Second cornerback. Who's this going to be? You know Ty Redmond's your guy. Lockdown. You're good over there. Who and how are you going to get this out? Is it going to end up being Jadaeus Richard or Rashard, however you say his name? I got a feeling it's going to be Rashard. It's Richard. I just have a feeling.
Why is that?
Because it's just Richard.
Yeah,
Who's ever just Richard? It's Richard.
Jadaeus Richard.
I would almost bet 1,000. It's like Rashard. Okay, Jadaeus Richard is what we'll call him right now. The transfer from Miami. You know what that defense was capable of last year. You got a guy that's coming into a defense that's going to be very much pro set up like Miami's was as well. Can the Vols find another high caliber guy on the edge the way they have? And they hit the portal and end up getting some guys as well, and they got some talent inside of the room too. I really do hate that Ricky Gibson left. I know money plays a part of it. He went to Texas A&M, but finding answers at that room with a new defensive coordinator, with a new scheme with guys that had been there, and you also got the Miami transfer as well, as I just mentioned too.
Jadaeus Richard.
Okay, Richard.
So we just got the first name wrong, but the last name is correct.
Jadaeus Richard. Does he step up and become this year's Colton Hood? You got to give it to Coach Barnes being able to hit the portal and get newcomer of the year 3 times in a row and, potential NBA draft picks. I'm wondering, can Hypel and his staff identify this type of talent at the cornerback position too?
And Kagan Lee from Auburn, who started 25 games for the Tigers at the other corner spot. I just think what the entire secondary looks like is really interesting. And with Quay Moss coming in as your nickel leader in the clubhouse from Kansas State, TJ Metcalf is probably the most known commodity in the entire secondary, not named Ty Redmond. Coming from Michigan, he's going to play one safety spot. I think you probably feel as confident about that as you do about Ty Redmond at corner.
Right.
Everything else is up for grabs. I like that you probably feel somewhat comfortable with your first 4 corners on the roster.
Yeah.
From Jadaeus Richard and Kagan Lee, the transfers, to Ty Redmond, and then Quay Moss, your transfer nickel.
Can I throw another one in there as well?
You may.
The Joel Wyatt story.
Yeah.
The freshman.
So I was reading Eric Kane's takeaways at VolQuest yesterday from the first spring practice, and he said, I thought it was Caleb Herring. And then I had to quickly, he said that in the 2-minute drill with Hubs. He was like, oh, Caleb Herring's back. Oh, wait, that's Joel Wyatt. Obviously, he knows Caleb Herring's not actually there anymore. He transferred, but he looks like a massive human being. Those were Eric Kane's exact words.
Yeah. And he is committed to, and they're committed to him playing in the secondary as well. This is a 6'4" potential safety. The weapon and the cleanup that he can be, Eamon, how you say his name, Eamon Wari out of South Carolina.
Nick Eamon Wari, yep.
Those are the images that I get right there when you talk about some Legion of Boom type of secondary player.
You hope he could be your Kyle Hamilton.
Brother.
Yeah.
If he gets anywhere close to that, I want to see laid out players all over the field, and I'm advocating for violence, okay? It's just where I'm at.
And the way college offenses run, your ability to deploy a Swiss Army knife that you just move all around the defense works much better at college than it does in the NFL.
I like this too as far as the college game goes because all positions still matter in college. Running back still matters. For certain teams, fullback still matters. Safety still matters, and linebackers as well. The NFL somewhat minimizes those positions, but not in college. Absolutely not.
Number 3 on your list.
Number 3 on my list. The Penn State transfers. How do they get up to speed? Detailing this defense, teaching this defense to everybody else. I'm talking about edge Chaz Coleman, safety DeJuan Lane, and linebacker Amari Campbell. The linebacker position also as well is going to be fascinating because you got T. Lander back. Arian Carter's down for the spring from my understanding. But you also got Jaden Pilati and Jaden Harmon also at the linebacker position. And you throw in Amari Campbell from Penn State
and
that
you
knows
brought in
his defense.
Some good freshmen. I mean, TJ White is a guy that we've heard good things about. Braden Rouse, another one. Like, it's as deep as Tennessee's been an inside linebacker in a long time.
I know Tennessee defenses.
Correct.
Is year after year, stack after stack, there's a new guy coming in every single year. I'm talking about from Kevin Simon, Kevin Burnett, to Gerard Mayo, to Marvin Mitchell, to Omar Gaithers, to Rico McCoy. Like, you name the guys that are playing that position, and they are named guys. Did I say Gerard? Absolutely. Ryan Carl. You can stack those guys behind one another, and all of them usually went to the NFL or left crazy amounts of imprints on the University of Tennessee with their careers. And that plethora of talent, I'm with, I think it was Hubs last week. I'm not the linebackers coach, William Inge. Just don't take him off or you won't play. It's that simple with the amount of talent that they have inside of that room.
It's exciting. I think you like that Amari Campbell is still a part of that room, considering he knows the defense and played it last year at Penn State with new defensive coordinator Jim Knowles. For me, that's probably number two behind the entire quarterback discussion as a whole is how quickly does the defense take to Jim Knowles' system?
Yeah.
And that's less significant probably for an edge rusher whose job is to get after the quarterback and to set the edge. Mm-hmm. But for, to your point, DeJuan Lane and Amari Campbell and the guys in the second and third levels of the defense, how quickly are you able to help the entire defense learn this new scheme and system? We're seeing this work more in college football all around the country, where hiring an assistant with that assistant's ability to bring the guys that he just coached kind of takes away some of the growing pains of year one success, in the same way that Cam Ward and Ben Arbuckle were together, in the same way that Eric Morris, the new head coach at Oklahoma State, will bring Drew Mestemaker with him. The same way that John Mateer and Ben Arbuckle were together and heading to Oklahoma last season. Your ability to just not have to relearn everything matters quite a bit. And we talk about that so much for quarterbacks and for offensive coordinators and offenses, but it is especially true as well for defenses.
It is. And also, too, I feel like moving forward, I can't mention this defense without mentioning this one particular guy, Edwin Spielman, who...
Yeah, that's another one. That's right.
Who had, I felt like, a really great year last year and took the right steps. And I heard is an awesome teammate, can make plays for this team, too. Jeremiah T. Lander might have a problem this year.
I mean, he could have a pretty defined role, doesn't he?
It is...
See ball, hit ball.
Yeah, at this point.
We need an inside linebacker to cover. Stand over here.
Come over here with me.
Yes, that's exactly right. It was Eric Morris, by the way, who went with Cam the first time, not Arbuckle, but you got the point.
Yep.
Number two,
affects number one is the way I got this one. I don't think most people are looking at this competition.
Offensive line?
It's a four-way. And there's a name that I got a little nugget on last week that needs to be in high consideration for it. But the four-way at right tackle, right guard, and I don't think it's an issue. I'm penciling in, personally, Jesse Perry.
At which spot?
I know.
Jesse Perry is going to start somewhere.
He's going to start somewhere, I feel.
But is that next to Ori Williams, the LSU transfer at right tackle? Or is that at right tackle next to West Virginia guard Donovan Haslam?
Oh, there we go. So my four-way is at that right tackle, right guard position is between Jesse Perry, Sham Umarov, who started, remember, and played well when he was out. When what's his name was out, David Sanders was out. Ori Williams, the tackle from LSU, who's been on the, record wanting to be a left tackle, but that belongs to David Sanders Jr. right now. Him learning right tackle. Are you going to learn right tackle? And then the last one I just spoke about is West Virginia transfer Donovan Williams.
Haslam.
Yeah, Haslam. Where did I get Williams from?
I don't know.
Probably from Ori Williams. But he started 5 games and has logged 444 snaps last year. This guy has experience. He's played well for West Virginia also. So that group of Sham, Umarov, Jesse Perry, Ori Williams, and Donovan Haslam is going to be highly contested. Another great problem to have.
And I think for a second straight season, you have depth and experience.
Bro.
If one person goes down. There is not a place on this entire offensive line, except for maybe center, where you feel like you'd have to put in someone who hasn't played that position at a high level in college football yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you think it's most likely the leader of the clubhouse offensive line from left to right is David Sanders, Wendell Moy, Sam Pendleton, Jesse Perry, Ori Williams, left to right.
Yeah.
I think that's probably most likely, but there is a lot that can still change within that.
Sure is, because the other part is the buy-in. Will Ori Williams commit to learning right tackle? It's not like if I can speak with him, I will at some point. It was like right tackle's getting broke off.
Which is
in the NFL,
Ramon's vocabulary, if you're unfamiliar, for they get paid.
They get paid. Yeah. They also get paid nowadays as well. They also get all pros, which they didn't used to anymore. Guards. I had a conversation with a player recently trying to decide if they want to go from tackle to guard. And I'm just like, you don't understand. Like, the game is way different than it was 10 years ago when it comes down to offensive line. They just need good ones. And if you commit to being a really good guard, you're going to get really paid down the line. And it's just fascinating how guys in their mind, and I was this way. I only wanted to play left tackle. And then it becomes, man, I just want to play tackle. And then I need a 70 number. Like, we're weird with this. Like, I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to play O-line. I just didn't. It's no glory, I felt like, until you make it cool and you understand, like, it's more than just pushing bodies around. So I ain't going to say you have to be convinced about it, but guys need to understand there's different ways to get paid and be on the field.
Sure. Yeah, the other option as well, right on the right side that you mentioned, Sham Umarov at right guard and Jesse Perry at right tackle. Tennessee's got choices there, certainly, and the competition will be good for everybody. Number one is obviously quarterback.
It's quarterback.
Well, how much can these guys help or hurt themselves in the spring? You've been a part of quarterback battles this time of year.
The one way, and I won't even go help, because I think both are going to be talented. When I saw Eric Ainge and Brent Schaefer compete, and Rick Clausen, all of those guys compete, all of them can play. It's a matter of who cracks under pressure first. Who's watching the tape and trying to decide, okay, did I do enough today? That's how guys lose, like, competitions. It's not about what they're, great at. It's about how they fold under competition. And that, to me, is where everybody's been having a conversation around George McIntyre. Like, it's his to lose. Like, and you hate to kind of say that, but George, is yours to lose. You just go do your thing. Let everything else settle, and don't watch the message boards. Don't listen to the Twitter or social media in any kind of way. Focus on your game. That's the only thing that detracts you from winning, is looking outside of your blinders, your eye blinders, and trying to focus on somebody else. I don't care if he just dropped a 70-yard bomb. Go drop an 80-yard bomb. That's kind of how the game goes. They're both talented. It's a matter of who's going to fold under pressure, Will, when one has a good day and the other one has a bad one.
What did Josh Hypel say yesterday about the Tennessee quarterback battle entering spring practice? You will hear from the head coach of the Vols coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Letting you know we don't like dealing with those plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergencies. If you yesterday saw the snow falling on the ground and had to turn your heat back on, well, probably some of you had a problematic switch on, man. Simply because you have to have those type of devices serviced around your home. Hiller Service Mind, just to be preventative more than anything when it comes down to the use of those appliances, man. But we've all dealt with with it, whether it's a small electrical issue or plumbing, this is the company that you need to go to. The experts, they solve your problems quickly. And the price you're told is always the price that you'll actually pay with no hidden fees or surprises on your bill at all. Hiller's been in business for over 35 years and are family-owned and operated. The techs are usually the employees that you'll deal with in your house. They're very professional, experienced, and trustworthy, and are all background and drug screen. Hiller's motto has been they truly live by it. Happy you will be or the service is free. It's just good with them. If you are like me and have small things around your house that need to be fixed, listen to me. Head over to happyhiller.com and make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
Ramon Will wrapping up hour one on 104.5 The Zone and Zone TV. Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, where you can stream us. Josh Hypel yesterday in a long press conference opened up Tennessee spring practice and, of course, was asked two questions about the quarterback competition. Had this to say about the beginning of that battle yesterday.
They've had a good winter with the introduction of some of the things that we're doing offensively. George obviously has more time on task with the general basis of what we're doing. But as those guys have come into the program, gaining an understanding of what we're doing, the communication, how they're calling protections, adjusting protections, our run game rules, being able to control everything that we're doing, and then, starting to master what's going on the back end from the defensive structures as well, and ultimately become a guy that is playing extremely efficiently, starts with their eyes, being able to see things, work through the progression, then the fundamentals and the technique to deliver the ball consistently and accurately. That guy's got to play on edge. He's got to go make plays, but he's also got to take care of the football.
Josh, since Joey isn't coming back, that quarterback position obviously is open. How open is it? How open is that position? How open should those three guys see that position and their opportunity? Yeah, it is open. We had that conversation with all of them as we started the winter when they all arrived here. I had that conversation again as we were wrapping up our winter before we got into spring ball. We've had a couple of those battles. You guys know that we always communicate with those guys openly, transparently, communicate with those guys together. Don't expect a guy to be named here during the course of spring ball. I think it's important that all the guys in that room learn and grow throughout the course of spring, also have a chance to go back, in your summer months, digest it, reinstall, and come back a much better player and compete and earn it in front of their teammates as you get into training camp.
It's Josh Hypel opening up spring practice yesterday. Wide open quarterback competition, obviously something we knew. Right. Josh Hypel saying it and adding that he told the guys in the quarterback room the same thing.
There's some truth and some lie in that.
Where's the truth?
That is open.
Where's the lie?
It's not fully open. It's
really?
Not. Hell no. It's not. I don't know if Ryan Staub is going to be considered.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, that's my point. I love the Hypels being that transparent about it, but that's just kind of how stuff goes. Too many players to say it's fully open to everybody in the room, but I'm really splitting hairs here in what he said, but this is between Faison and George McIntyre. There's no other way around it. The conversation the statement that he made, I think holds true for both of them is their eyes. Like most helmets have a stripe down the middle, and that's to see on tape where your helmet is pointed and how you're looking at the field and stuff like that. For young guys, I didn't understand what that meant. Track players, I go sprinters for sure, or hurdlers. You ever seen the guy from Florida that's over the hurdles, his head doesn't move?
Holloway?
Grant Holloway, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like the same applies to football and basketball and baseball as well, to where the more you can steady your head, the better we understand that you understand what you're looking at as well. And for those young quarterbacks, the way their head swivels side to side of, hey, you're supposed to be looking right, and I see on the stripe that your eyes are left, there's teaching moments in that. Like the moment that you take in everything is where we like to use that term. Oh, the game slowed down. All that means is I'm seeing the field or the court or the ball way better than I was. That matters.
I love that you're the one making the Grant Holloway reference this morning, not me.
I use that clip all the time.
Well, too, from a golf perspective, if you watch a really good golfer and how still their head is with how much movement their body has around them, but their head is totally still.
Stick.
Yeah, right. It's true in so many sports. Same with baseball, too, and just keeping your head still and keeping your eyes laser focused as you are doing other things. Right?
Yes.
Who do you think is going to win the quarterback battle?
George.
How confident are you in saying that today?
I'm 80% confident.
Really? That high?
Absolutely. Like, the competition side is to push George. It's to make George go earn it. It's to make whoever was in this position where they were already on campus be the guy that you can say to yourself, I know that you're probably going to win it, but I'm going to force you into some adverse situations in which you have to have a hard day. This guy behind you, Faison Brandon, is a good talent. I'm okay with going with him if you don't do your end of it too. And I know I probably dismissed Ron Staub, the Colorado transfer, but
I think it's okay.
You have to say that. And you have to also keep him in the mix because as much as he learned, the better assistant he's going to be to either one of those two guys that are starting. And that's the way I look at this competition. Like, you can go in and be fair to everybody, but also play by the different rules as well. That's great coaching to me, is to say, yes, it's even for everybody. But at the end of the day, I have who I want to go win it. We do this all the time as people. Like, yeah, it's open, or you can come through. Just don't bring him with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all right to be transparent like that, but Hypel can't do that publicly. It's George's job, in my opinion.
I do agree with you that I think it will be George McIntyre. I don't know if it's one of those competitions, though. That's not the vibe I get.
You don't? You're probably more right than I am. I'm just being very brash about it because I think it just makes sense.
I do think there are competitions where you know as coaches who's going to win it, and you create competition in practice to get the best out of that guy. I'm not sure this is that situation, though. I just think at the end of the day, George is going to win it over Faison Brandon, A, because of the experience he's had, and B, just the precedent of what Josh Hypel has done in situations like this. He has very commonly given the edge to the guy with experience when he is given a chance to either play the true freshman or the guy that's been around.
Right.
At least at Tennessee. The only example where that's maybe different is when Joe Milton came into the Tennessee program after Hendon Hooker did in the aftermath of spring. Hendon had been there a little bit longer, and he went with Joe.
That's true.
And then obviously in 2021, he gets hurt against Pitt. Hendon takes the job and never looks back.
Yeah.
So, but again, those two guys were both experienced. They had both played. Really, you got to go back to Dylan Gabriel as the last time Josh Hypel played a true freshman.
Wow.
And that was at UCF.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll just kind of have to believe it when I see it, that he's going to start a true freshman over a guy with experience. That being said, I think if Faison Brandon is better than George McIntyre from spring through the summer and through fall, I think he'll be the starter. But I would be surprised to see that happen, personally.
I'm with you. I think Ole Miss's situation with Trinidad Chambliss turned into a starter after the fact, though, too. Is another one of those situations, you're right, where experience kind of trumped the guy that you had in-house, to your point, too. I just look at George and Faison equally and say, you recruited both as 5 stars. No matter if George lost that 5th one or not, for whatever reasons, the talent should be there. The mind should be there.
I agree.
And he should go win it. It's kind of where I'm basing it on, too. The other part, too, well, I guess another competition that kind of went the opposite direction was with the Titans. There's no way I didn't think James Williams was winning that competition last year over Cedric Gray. I'm just looking at the Titans' perspective.
Well, what did you think was?
I thought going into the way I've looked at it as far as equal competition was one of the few times where I felt the guy that was in the lead lose it right before our eyes was James Williams and Cedric Gray's situation.
It does happen.
It happens.
I think quarterback is just different.
I'll call them again, fragile.
Yeah.
You can't play with their emotions like that.
Quarterback's different.
Yeah.
Coming up, Greg Sankey did a long-ranging interview with On3's Chris Lowe and gave his opinion on a number of big topics and big issues facing college sports. He is on the opposite end of one issue of Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White. We'll talk about that coming up next.
The uncontested leader when it comes to engagement rings and fine jewelry here is Genesis Diamonds, the leader for over 20 years. Genesis disrupted the old school jewelers by offering a massive selection of hand-picked diamonds at ridiculously low prices. And year after year, they are voted best jeweler in Nashville and best place to buy an engagement ring. Nobody else even comes close. These days, Genesis owners are as committed as ever to staying ahead with an even larger selection of GI-certified diamonds, a growing collection of exclusive designer rings that you can't find anywhere else, expanded warranties and guarantees, and extreme transparency. And what people love, nobody's on commission at Genesis. They are there to guide you to a smart decision with total confidence. Genesis is the total package, uncompromising quality, unmatched selection, and unbeatable value. And one more thing, if you're looking for a luxury Rolex watch, Genesis has cornered the market with a massive selection of pristine, just like new pre-owned Rolex timepieces. All the popular models, they have them. So for that special occasion this year, trust my friends and the real experts at Nashville's own Genesis Diamonds. Genesis Diamonds are located, of course, in Green Hills and Cool Springs, but you can also reach them online at genesisdiamonds.com. Amazing store, even more incredible people.
Hey, it's Will Boulding. Is your home's air conditioning ready to keep up with the warmer months ahead? Hey, look, I get it. It is cold outside today. We've got colder weather in the forecast for the next couple of days. But if you looked ahead to the weekend, weather back up to the 80s, this is the time to make sure that your AC unit is ready. And Lee Company, as always, has you covered. Lee Company's team of professional technicians will give your home's AC a tune-up as well as seasonal cleaning and maintenance to help you stay ahead of the heat and humidity. I promise you, the best time to do this is when it's not as hot outside. Don't let your AC fail this spring and summer. Head on over to leecompany.com to schedule your appointment today. That's leecompany.com. The company with over 80 years of experience serving Middle Tennessee. Lee Company, a multi-award-winning great place to work, has 14 community locations, and they are available 24/7. Online at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need.
7:02. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Yesterday, the Jets traded quarterback Justin Fields to the Kansas City Chiefs in exchange for a 2027 sixth-round draft pick, pending a physical. The Jets are paying all but $3 million of Fields' $10 million guaranteed salary, which saves the Jets more money rather than if they had just released him. The move comes a week after the Jets acquired Geno Smith from the Raiders. In the World Baseball Classic last night, Venezuela beat Italy in the semifinal, and they'll face the U.S. tonight with first pitch coming up at 7 o'clock tonight on Fox. Mets pitcher Nolan McLean will get the start on the mound for the Americans, and Diamondbacks pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez will get the start on the mound for Venezuela. In Vols football news, Tennessee started their spring practice yesterday when asked about the quarterback battle between freshman Faison Brandon and redshirt freshman George McIntyre. Head coach Josh Hypel said, quote, "Don't expect a guy to be named here during the course of spring ball. I think it's important that all the guys in the room learn and grow throughout the course of spring. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
So with a lot of issues facing college athletics, there has been one consistent leader on the collective bargaining side of college sports. Just so happens to be the athletic director of the Vols named Danny White. Ramon Will rolls into hour number 2 on this frigid Tuesday morning. And Ramon, in a long conversation with On3's Chris Lowe, Greg Sankey did what he did in Washington with the round table with the president and continued to back up the SCORE Act, which was essentially just return power to the NCAA that it had before everyone started suing the NCAA. That's the simplest way to describe it the way I understand it. Greg Sankey, talking about collective bargaining and a cap and doing all that, says, "I work with really smart lawyers about what actually is accurate and is not accurate. And since that's attorney-client privilege conversation, that's where it shall remain. But I don't buy what a lot of people sell on that particular subject." Chris Lowe writing it on 3 Sports. He thinks the focus should be on Congress passing the SCORE Act, a framework for NIL rules defining athletes as non-employees and allowing the NCAA to regulate deals and transfers without the threat of facing federal lawsuits, and not a revision of the media rights deal. What do you think about Greg Sankey's involvement, Ramon, in the roundtable up in Washington and his now stance, as we get closer to maybe an executive order being written about this as well, that we don't need collective bargaining in college sports?
I don't agree with him. I can see why he comes to that point is where I stand too, because it's a lot of different divisions, a lot of different teams, a lot more players than what the NFL, NBA, NHL, and MLB have as well. But that's their job as well. Greg Sankey is one of the most influential guys in all of college sports. Heck, for that matter, he's got to be top 5 when it comes down to importance in American sports in general. And this is a college commissioner at this point. I don't fully agree with this deal because, again, this is in no consideration of the players, the right to earn. Like you said, too, the way this is set up, you go back to the old ways of doing things if this is what they pass along. Are there regulations that should be had? Absolutely. But to say that you can't have the threat of facing federal lawsuits if guys are stuck into situations where the coaches leave and you won't leave as well, you can't sue for your right to either earn more than another place or you just have to sit and be quiet. You can't go back to that. You've allowed this to happen so far. There's absolutely no way you can start to over-regulate what you allowed for years now. And to be quite honest with you, the SEC has benefited from. That's the issue that I have. You can't take it back now. Can you find ways to put it in the box? Yeah. But the seamlessness of being able to communicate the whys, the money, and everything else involved in it, how you transfer out or in, yeah, I agree with them there.
Jordan on YouTube says, no more pay to play. It's ruining college sports. Well, pay to play is going to happen whether you allow it to or not. And it has been happening. Just Google Worldwide West and John Calipari. You'll get plenty of examples. Look up the Dodge Chargers that were being driven in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Right.
I mean, we can't be naive and think that there hasn't been pay to play before NIL. But how do you regulate said pay to play in a way that evens the playing field and actually has rules that can be enforced and not just challenged in court, where you have Charles Bediako and Joey Aguilar and Trinidad Chambliss who can just fight in court and get a local judge to strike down your rules. So there's two pathways that you could take.
Very much.
The SCORE Act, which would be the congressional ability to give the NIL freedom to enforce its rules without the threat of litigation. To say that the NCAA has the ability to regulate this market. Here's the problem with that, though. I don't see that standing up in court.
No.
Because then we're just back to the square one, just in a more broad conversation in courts to say that you are limiting an athlete's right to earn by having one side of the table make all these rules without the other side agreeing to any of those rules. Imagine if there was a CBA in the NFL where the 32 owners got together and decided how all of this was going to work, how free agency was going to work, the pay escalators, the way the TV revenue was divided up, without the players ever getting an opportunity to have a seat at the table and agree to it. The players are the employees. Absolutely. In what other line of work, Ramon, is that okay? Does that work?
It's not.
Especially not in a billion-dollar industry where your employees are the ones actually shouldering the work and the burden of making all this money for all these institutions and media rights and all these things, but then they don't get a say in the way that's divided up. That's not how the country works.
No.
And I know we're getting into more non-sports stuff, but this is a very big deal. The other side of it would be collective bargaining, to where the players are employees, but the players then have the ability to have a seat at the table to agree to rules that can then actually be enforced because the players agreed to them. Excellent. And if there's a way to do that with players not being employees, I think that's the way a lot of people would like for this to go. Those are your two options, as simply as we can put it, though.
The way it should be looked at is exactly as what they are. You're find a better way of saying this without. You're essentially, in most times, 4-year rentals or holders of numbers anyway, right? The way I view this is almost like a 1099. Like, they're getting 1099s with what they're being paid out anyway in NIL, but I can be an employee of the NFL and not be in-house with them and almost be on a year-to-year contract, to that point of, like, not trying to make them employees. No, they can I'm still an employee, but there's different rules in which I live by on a scholarship year-to-year basis that they need to, like, incorporate into this conversation, because this SCORE Act says this, and it's probably the most flagrant part of this rule: a framework for NIL rules defining athletes as non-athletes. Take that out. I mean, non-employees. Take that out. They're employees. They're facilitating a talent of game day experiences that allow you as an organization to make millions of dollars.
They're creating revenue for you.
Exactly.
In every other business,
Is that not an
is
employee?
the definition of an employee. Yes.
Fine. Of course, this is where Sankey, of course, talking about this is client, attorney
privilege, yeah.
But at the same sense, like, legitimately understand what you're asking these guys to do. Like, Sankey, I like what you are as a commissioner. Danny White, all of you guys. But legitimately is this: you don't get to fly on those private jets and have all those perks of being at the floor of all those games, of front row and suites, without those employees. That line needs to be amended immediately before this SCORE Act even goes any further. They're employees, and it's okay to say this. What are you afraid of on the employee side? Lawsuit? Well, if somebody gets in trouble like the Alabama player did yesterday, they dismissed him. It's that easy. I do think if you're introducing this amount of money and willing to pay guys through your university or through your connected NIL program, then you should be okay with setting work parameters around them as well. There are requirements that you and I will have to have as far as Cumulus is concerned, that if we break those rules, we're fired. And that's just how it goes. The same thing goes for sports. In the NFL, it's the exact same thing. That needs to be amended immediately. As non-employees, that makes zero sense to me.
Yeah,
if I can go get a job at McDonald's at 16 and be an employee there, at 18 collecting $100,000 a month, if my NIL is $1.2 million a year, I should be considered an employee.
Sure.
You don't have to put them on insurance. If you're a 1099 employee, you don't get insurance from that company, and that's fine too.
Yeah, I think the headline of what you need to know within all of this litigation and legislation is there is a fight brewing. Whether the SCORE Act does get rewritten and passed through the House and congressional intervention is there, that would be challenged in court. Wow. Or whether collective bargaining really does happen. And you have pushback from people like Greg Sankey, who are very important. Greg Sankey is starting to use his voice to back that method and that side. He did it in Washington. He talked a little bit about it before the Tennessee Vandy broadcast, apparently. We were there, so we didn't obviously hear it. But I'm interested to see what's next. And I'm also interested to see if an executive order from the president can hold up and make a difference one way or another as well, because that is supposed to be coming either this week or next, according to multiple reports.
But even still, in that one-sided conversation, there are players and their agents now and families that are just going to be told what to do without no say-so. Like,
yeah, exactly.
The other part of it, though, and I doubt they get to this point because I'm not sure how educated they are, and I say that respectfully because this business is way different in college than it is in the NFL. Like, you have to educate yourself on this as well. I don't think there'll be a holdout or a strike. But if you're forced into roles that aren't fair to you, and it needs to be fair at this point because you showed me how fairness look now with how we've operated since COVID hit, or the unfair ways of it with some teams having 27-year-olds on their rosters who don't go on, church missions and stuff like that. There needs to be a back and forth given, and for whatever reason in college sports, they don't want to do it. And everybody continues to eat off the back of these guys. Now, I know it's different. Everybody's saying, well, they're getting paid now. But that is such a one-sided conversation that went on in Washington that should have included agents or some other representation for the players. I didn't like that, but I get the control that they've lost.
Coming up, we shift the conversation back to the Titans. What do the Titans need to add at wide receiver? I'm going to give you some names of the NFL draft I think makes sense on day 2. What is the profile of receiver for Brian Daboll's offense that the Titans still need? We'll talk about that coming up next. So the Titans are still looking for wide receiver help as they head to the NFL draft. However, that need maybe isn't as pressing with the return of Calvin Ridley. Ramon Will rolls on here in hour number 2. Hit the podcast feed if you miss any of the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and 1045thezone.com. Ramon, what type of receiver do the Titans still need in the draft? And do you still feel like they need to find one on days 1 or 2?
What type of receiver they have to have without understanding what Wan'Dale Robinson is on the game day?
I think we do understand what he is, though, don't we?
For the Titans in this setting, with all of that. Like, I know it is what, like, I hadn't in detail just seen every facet of his game. Like, I still think there's a diva that's needed, to be quite honest with you. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to get your number one true wide receiver in this group, but somebody that you can go on any play on the outside and have him make a play for you. I'm not sure. The guy I have in mind is Alec Ayumaner. As far as the bigger body possession wide receiver that's going to go up and snatch the ball out of the air, I think Calvin Ridley's a catch and stride type of guy, get behind the defense type of player. When I mention those dudes, I'm thinking of the way, just to keep it local, AJ was here, or the way you wanted other guys to play that position to where they just body individuals game after game. I'm not sure if that guy's here other than volume catchers.
Is Alec Ayumaner ready to be the big target wide receiver, the physical guy that can win against tight man coverage?
We've yet to see it. I hope that's his next step for him because, again, I felt like he had a case of the drops last year from time to time, not often. But to be able to be called on and just throw the ball to him, like mentality-wise, I'm thinking of Jawan Jennings, who's still available. That type of mentality is kind of what I'm speaking on, Will. But in the role of a number one guy that kind of grows up a little bit more. Like when you think of, and it ain't even the size and stature of it, but when you think of Jackson Smith and Jigba, now I know this is top 5 conversation right here, but when they got to have it, he or Puka Nacua, well, everybody in the house know they're getting the ball. And I'm not sure if it's this cycle, but I would almost expect the Titans want that type of guy. I personally thought when Calvin Ridley got his deal that he was going to turn more into that dude. Like, I'm him, the one you see on NFL films talking trash after the big plays. I'm not sure if Wan'Dale's there. I'm not sure if Calvin has morphed into that player as well. And to your point, sight unseen with Alec Ayumaner, I love that to be him if they don't go find him soon.
Alec last season, according to Pro Football Focus, ran the 21st most routes. He was out in a route 505 times. He had 86 targets. That was 39th in the NFL. But his passer rating when targeted was 67.7. That was 77th.
That's not high.
In the NFL this year. That's not good.
Okay.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Alec ranked 39th in targets, 86 targets. He had 41 catches on 86 targets. What wasn't clicking between him and Cam last season to have that many targets, have that low of a passer rating, to where we're talking about still maybe replacing is not the right word, finding another one of him to give you options? Or is he ready to be a bigger option again?
Was that Alec or that was Calvin you spoke of with that stuff?
I'm talking about Alec.
Alec, why wasn't it? I think the defense was different. He went from college defensive backs to NFL defensive backs. How does he continue to play through the ball or play with his hands through contact and beat guys back, figure out the little, nudges that they can get away with in the NFL? Like, has anybody spoke and talked to him about his tape to where you can push off below the belt as long as the hand doesn't extend? You can hit him with a chicken wing to kind of create some space for yourself. Or if you're a big body dude, like at some point you just got to go be in the post against him, body him is the way I look at this situation. But I do think the adjustments to what NFL cornerback coverage is, how guys are on you faster than you've ever seen. You're not going to win every rep, but you got to find ways in which you're more successful than he was last year is what I'm looking at as far as Alec is concerned. And the other part for him is where we've had this conversation yesterday too, is I don't think he was expected to play that big of a role. And he just kind of grew into it and wasn't ready for it. You got to think, like last year, we were watching Alec be in a position where I felt like he was about to ascend up to like very tier one for this team. And then it just kind of leveled off and kind of descended.
It did.
It just, I don't want to say abruptly, but we watched his fadeaway happen.
What I think the Titans need is the type of receiver who can win against press man coverage and win with a wide catch radius with contested catches against defensive backs who are right up on them. I don't think that player is on this team right now, Ramon.
That's where I'm with you. We just had a comment that came in from Super A that just said, you're right, just give me a game changer anywhere in the field. And to your point you just made, where's that guy?
And, of course, I'd love to have a game changer on the field. Those are not commonly found on days 2 or 3 of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably more where we're looking for a receiver. If there was a game changer guaranteed on day 2 of the NFL draft, that guy's not going on day 2 of the NFL draft. He's going on day 1.
You can try to develop him.
So, and that's the point.
Okay.
I think you are looking for someone who develops into wide receiver 2. And probably starts off as wide receiver 3 behind Wan'Dale Robinson and Calvin Ridley. But in the same sense, that's also kind of where Alec Manor is right now. It's kind of where Chimere Dike is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who started off as wide receiver 3, wide receiver 2, without Calvin Ridley healthy last season, behind Chig, who was wide receiver 1 last year, who may be ready to step up into a bigger role. It's kind of the same way we're talking about replacing Femi's snaps at edge with a Reuben Bay Jr. or a David Bailey or an Arvell Reese. Well, it depends on who you believe in more, because you may believe in Femi's ability to step up and have a breakthrough this upcoming season coming off of an injury. Maybe you believe in Alec Manor enough to say, well, we don't need to go get the big, rangy, target possession wide receiver. We feel like Alec Manor, with another year in an NFL strength program and offseason and coached by a new staff, we feel like he has the ability to do that. I know they liked the speed that he played at last season.
Okay.
And they felt like Alec really played quicker than maybe what he tested at. And he is someone that took to this system really quickly and looked the part in practice really quickly. But to your point, things kind of hit a plateau and really started to go downhill a little bit later in the season. I still think, though, that with the importance of Cam Ward taking a next step and with the value that you get in adding a go-to guy on third down, where the Titans were not good last season, I want Alec Manor to be competing with a rookie for that spot. And he may win the battle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm, Ramon, in a perfect world, drafting a wide receiver with my 3rd round pick. That, I think, is where I want to live, because watching one guy last night, there's a player that I like enough that I'm willing to wait on.
Hold up. Really? Not a first rounder?
Not
Obviously.
a first rounder. Probably not a second rounder.
Okay.
That's Chris Bell at Louisville.
To wait on.
I think that's the right kind of situation for the Titans to take a risk on for a couple of reasons. Number one, Chris Bell, for those who are unfamiliar, tore his ACL in November. Wide receiver out of Louisville, 6'2", 222. He's Mel Kiper's number 9 wide receiver in the draft. November 22nd, he tore his ACL at SMU. If he has to essentially take a redshirt year for a lot of his rookie season, it's Alec Manor's time to prove himself a little bit. And you have someone in place with a similar profile to Chris Bell, who can do some of the same things, who you can rely on in the meantime. And it kind of gives you a little bit of a built-in trial run on Elikai Manor taking a next step. Yeah. It still benefits your football team. And two, I think we're looking at a world where, Ramon, the Titans draft a receiver this year who's not replacing Calvin Ridley in 2026, but might be in 2027.
No doubt.
So if that guy needs to be, again, to our point, wide receiver 3 or even 4 as a rookie, you have time to grow because you do have options at wide receiver at the moment. When I watch Chris Bell, I see someone with a lot in his bag.
That's what I was wondering. What pops off to you? Because go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because, again, I just want to interject the PTSD of drafting injured players.
Yeah.
Will this regime do that?
I'm willing to do it with a third-round pick because of how good he is.
Gotcha.
Last season, 72 catches on 106 targets for 917 yards, 12.7 yards per reception. Just turn on his game against Miami. 9 catches for 136 and 2 touchdowns against one of the best defenses that he saw all season. I turned on his clips and film in that game expecting to see a guy catching the football over the top of defenses as a deep target. What I saw was a guy catching crossing routes over the middle of the field and making guys miss for 2 touchdowns. Both of his touchdowns were on the same route. A crosser about 10 to 15 yards over the middle of the field where he wheels it upfield, one along the sideline, one between the hash marks, and just runs past everybody. He has the run after catch ability and the top speed when he hits his first gear. He also is a combat catcher.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
And his comeback routes are very clean. He is the kind of receiver you're talking about on 3rd and 6. You run a 7-yard comeback to the sticks. He turns that shoulder around and sticks his foot in the ground and makes the catch. He's very strong with his hands. He's very big. He's a physical player. Honestly, what I saw on some of those crossing routes is a little bit of A.J. Brown in the way that he would hit top speed and then he was just gone over the middle of the field. He is someone I think is worth waiting on and worth taking the risk on with the 3rd-round pick because I think, Ramon, he is a first-round talent if he is healthy.
If he's healthy.
And if that guy makes it to 66, I'm sprinting to the podium. Sprinting.
Yeah, this injury happened, you said
November 22nd against SMU.
I mean, he could be back in the fold, I think, by October. If we're being quite honest with you, to get reps in. I mean, that puts him at 11 months or whatever that is at that point.
It's the same risk they took last year on their 3rd-round pick and Kevin Winston Jr. as well.
The heck did. Never mind. We've lived this life. Okay, we can move forward with this conversation.
And to be fair, that ACL injury was way earlier in the season than Chris Bell's.
But they know how to handle it now.
But if you're talking about the motto of a draft and develop organization being we want first downs and not touchdowns. We want to be patient in the way that we build this thing up. This is how you practice what you preach.
Yeah, it is.
You take calculated risks. And the way ACL injuries are now, Ramon, in today's day and age of NFL football, I just don't think that's the same concern level that it used to be.
No, it's not. And the rehab is different. The athlete trains different, and how they get back is totally more is more understood than it ever has been. They got different ways of testing it to see how even you are. And the cool part is this, though, too. In today's NFL, I feel like guys are okay with saying they are ready or not ready, and teams listen to them more than I think they did in years past. And if you feel like Chris Bell, has gotten to the point to where he's 100%, he can come out of this route, he can stick and go the way you want to, then you take that risk. If you feel like, well, to that point about where Calvin Ridley is in his career, do you need his replacement in the building to understand the offense, to hit the ground running? I'm in on this one. We've had this conversation about Chris Bell numerous times, and the question always, what about the knee? What about the knee? To your point about the calculated risk, can he play ball? Yeah. Is he a guy I think that's a only speed guy? No. I feel like he's a comeback catcher.
He does everything.
The only speed guys is the ones I worry about with the ACLs.
And you have that in Chimere Dike.
Yeah.
Who's not only speed, but I'm not even really looking closely at Zachariah Branch or Casey Concepcion.
I would look at Casey Concepcion before I do Zachariah Branch.
Both of them are difficult to evaluate because of the way they were deployed in college. And
schools.
as gadget receivers, you just never know if that guy is going to be able to expand their bag in terms of route running.
Right. To your point, the possession body you got to have a guy isn't here just yet. The closest one I think is they signed is Wan'Dale Robinson, but
right.
How are they going to employ him on game day? And to your point about the restructure Calvin Ridley, you got to have a succession plan in place.
Right.
I'm of the mindset like you. Get them before you have to have them.
I love Chris Bell. I've got 3 other names I'm going to get to in a minute that I think are day 2 wide receiver options, but Chris Bell to me is the most versatile of these guys. With the ball in his hand or as a combat catcher and a deep threat. Ramon, the Titans still need a field stretcher.
Very much.
Calvin Ridley is that, but against tight coverage, I worry about his ability to separate this late in his career. And considering the inaccuracies that Cam Ward had last season, throwing the ball 10 to 20 yards downfield, I need someone with a big catch radius to cover up Cam Ward's weakness so far in his career. That's inaccurate passes downfield, and that's holding on to the ball too long. Take away the need to wait and go get someone that can win one-on-one. That sounds really simple. I promise you it's not. And I promise you that it is harder than what it sounds like to go find that player. Because, again, if you have someone that you know can just win one-on-one and go moss defensive backs, that guy's not going to be there in the 2nd or 3rd round. But I think you are in the position with the receivers you already have on your roster to where you can now wait on Chris Bell to get healthy and roll with the top 4 that you have. That's Wan'Dale Robinson, Calvin Ridley, Chimere Dike, and Elikai Manor. If you walk into the season with those 4 as your top 4 receivers, could you have done more? Yes. Am I super concerned about that room, though, if that's your top 4? No. I'm fine with it. I don't love it, but I'm fine with it. But I'd really love it if Chris Bell was there waiting to step in the way Jeffrey Simmons did in October of his rookie season.
He plays all over the field, too.
He does.
He's everywhere.
Inside, outside, he can run after catch. He can run the crossing routes. He can run the go ball as a deep threat. He can run the deep posts that Brian Daboll loved with Wan'Dale Robinson. I think he's got the deepest bag of any of these receivers, and I think he's a first-round pick if he's healthy.
Yeah. That, to your point, finding that wide receiver that can catch a 5-yard slant and go, let's not even go 60, go 30 afterwards is needed here. I'm not sure if it's Calvin. I don't know if Wan'Dale is willing to do it. I think the guy that, if you poured into him has the most potential is Chimere. I personally do think
he's just not as big as Chris Bell.
I know. But like,
it's different.
If we're going to put pressure on everybody, Cam's pressure is which one of these guys in house, if they're not ready, can you make into a star? Chimere's already got the label. He's the all-pro. Now, I know it's special teams, but he also has speed.
Yep.
Will they evolve that as well?
615-737-1045. 3 more names to know on day 2 of the NFL draft at wide receiver after this.
Center Jackson Low T Center have been highlighted for having the highest quality testosterone on the market, y'all. They only use pharmaceutical grade testosterone, never compounded testosterone. So you know what's going on in your body. I'm telling you, don't settle for the compounded mystery testosterone. Go with the safer, smoother TRT with real human providers at Center Jackson Low T Centers. Yes, and I do mean it. You don't have to go to a monitor and do any of those types of things. There's a human that greets you there. At Center Jackson Low T Center as well, they dose their TRT more frequently than other clinics to make sure that your testosterone levels are always optimal and don't dip below the baseline. This keeps your TRT smooth and keeps side effects in check as well. They also stay on top of your health, which is crucial. with regular medical testing so they can make sure that your TRT is always safe. And they do mean that. Levels can change. They got to make adjustments and whatnot. This is why it's important to go to somewhere as good as Center Jackson Low T Center. That way you don't have any worries. You can get all the questions answered and have zero issues whatsoever. This is the time of year to go ahead and start getting right. It always is the time to go get right. But I can give you the website now. It's getmyhealthfix.com. Getmyhealthfix.com, and make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
Ramon Will rolls on 104.5 The Zone, hour number 2 of the program. So I just gave you my stump speech for Chris Bell. And Ramon, I've got some other names for you, a wide receiver who I think makes sense for the type the Titans need. And one of them, if you care about where the consensus big board has these guys ranked, I think is kind of a no man's land for the Titans.
Okay.
Would feel like maybe a little bit of a reach at 35. I don't think he's going to be there at 66. It's Tennessee's Chris Brazzell. 6'4", 198, 4.37 in the 40 with a 1.52 10-yard split. First team All-SEC, leading the Vols this past season with 1,017 receiving yards, 9 touchdowns. Do you feel like he would fit in this offense for what the Titans need?
I do. I would ask anybody that of course, judges this offense is gimmicky, it's on fit for college. Just simply type in on YouTube. With wide receivers, you can look at their reps because at this point, or the highlights. Go in and check out the route tree. I just told Will, I went back just to look myself. Just in the Syracuse game alone, first play that he got was a wide receiver screen bubble pass. That's NFL caliber play. Next play, he runs a 5-yard comeback. Ended up making a play there. Next play that he catches the ball on, he runs a 10-yard in. Catches the ball across the middle. Then you go a couple of plays later. Of course, they throw down the field to him and catches the ball. But then on top of that, they go bunch right. They go bunch right with a 3 wide receiver stack. He's inside releasing across the middle of the field for a catch. The variations of him running that offense and him understanding NFL routes and already have run them, it's on the tape, y'all. What I was asked of you is don't believe, and I hate to even use it, don't believe the fake news, the fake reporting. If you go do your research, what we always ask people to do, you will see the routes be ran. You will see contested catches. You will see why I am, and I think Will is too, standing on the table for a guy that possesses possession ability, speed, height, and combat catching on his tape. It's there.
It is there. The only thing I don't love as much about Brazzell is there's not as much run after catch ability with him. He's going to run past you to make deep catches. Mm-hmm. He can go over you to make combat catches. I don't see him with the football in his hands running by people and breaking tackles. He also wasn't asked to do that very much. But Chris Brazzell had 4 yards after catch per reception. That was 495th, according to PFF in college football last season. So is it that he wasn't asked to do that, or is it that he wasn't asked to do it because he can't do it?
I think he wasn't asked to do it.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah,
because even with a lot of the deep routes that he ran and the crossers, and I mean, I wanted a lot more deep crossers with Brazzell. You see him go down or go out of bounds a lot. It's not a bad thing. That's just the type of receiver he is. He gives you a lot of other things. He doesn't give you that. That's where I like Chris Bell a little bit more because I think he does both.
You say that, and immediately on this highlight tape, it's the deep pass to Georgia where he DPI on him and he stays up and run for a touchdown.
Right. So I like Chris Brazzell. To me, he's not the guy that's going to get you the tough, dirty yards as much. But if he can stretch the field enough to where he creates space for someone else to do that, whether that's Wan'Dale Robinson or Calvin Ridley or Chimere Dike or Elikiah Manor, then that still benefits your offense if he is your field stretcher. So I like Chris Brazzell.
It's tape hot, though.
I like Jeremy Bernard, Ramon.
You do.
The NFL.com comp, I think, is someone with a type that you could use. That's Robert Woods is the comp from Lance Zierlein. Jeremy Bernard is a good athlete. 4.48 40, 1.52 10-yard split. He's really agile. He's shifty. He's quick. He's not the best athlete. Still a good athlete. I mean, 4.48 in the 40 is by no means bad athleticism. I like the versatility and the things you could ask him to do. You want him to be a field stretcher and run past defensive backs? He can do that. You want him to run the underneath routes, and is he shifty enough in space to get a separation? Yes. Does he have run after catch ability? You bet. They put him at running back at times last season at Alabama. Definitely shows some explosiveness with the ball in his hands. He just, I think, doesn't have as high of a ceiling. And that's fine.
Yeah.
If you want a high floor wide receiver 2 type that's going to come in and be Robert Woods, then yeah. Number 56 on the consensus big board. And I think an option in the second round. I don't think he's going to make it to you in the third round.
Sounds prime Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
I mean, playing the running back as well, being versatile in that.
I'd say Debo's a bit bigger. I mean, definitely
no
at this
doubt.
point in his career, Debo's bigger.
Stop.
I don't think he's quite that athleticism level, but I do think he has some of that versatility in the way he was used at Alabama.
Right.
Malachi Fields is another one that I love. Malachi Fields is 66th on the consensus big board, 6'4", 218, not as quick, 4.61 in the 40, 38-inch vertical, transferred from Virginia to Notre Dame, was third-team All-ACC at UVA, 55 catches for 808, 5 touchdowns, starting all 12 games. His numbers, though, Ramon, would have been a lot higher at Notre Dame if they didn't have guys named Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price at running back.
That'll do it for you as well.
36 catches for 630, 17 and a half yards per catch. He is a boundary X bully. That's your tough, dirty yardage guy. If that's not such a run-heavy offense, I think he's got 1,000-yard potential at Notre Dame. The Titans don't have anyone else who can do what he does. This is what I'm talking about. If you wanted that big catch radius, if you wanted somebody that can make inaccurate passes accurate with the way that he could post up defensive backs like Ron Slay putting the lesser SEC forward to the boom room on the low block, that's Malachi Fields. The concern there again is that, you still don't have that field stretcher. You're relying on Calvin Ridley to open up space, and I think the field is so condensed with the current cast of wide receivers that you have. Who's someone that's opening up space to force those safeties to take a couple steps back?
Keeping them honest.
Malachi Fields not going to run by you. He also doesn't really always need to run by you because he can just go over you to make catches. The negative from Lance Zierlein at NFL.com, delayed release makes it tough to play against press. That's, I think, the struggle for him. So many teams played press man coverage against the Titans last year because they didn't have anybody who could consistently run by you and win.
That's true.
And so does that muddy up the waters a little bit in a group of receivers that is still so compact? The last one is Elijah Surratt. 70th on the big board, 6'2", 210. Lance Zierlein at NFL.com says, big receiver whose competitiveness and elite catch phase execution allow him to overcome his athletic limitations. He's nicknamed Waffle House because he's always open. High number of contested targets versus man coverage. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I still need somebody that can win against man coverage and win with contested catches against physical defensive backs. I think Elijah Surratt is another third-round option who could do that.
And competed high at the university this year that won a national championship, and he was a mainstay in that as well.
At Football School, Indiana.
Football, with them not making a tournament, is real now.
That's right.
That's twice we've talked about March Madness, Savage.
So out of those guys, I'm curious. We got a couple of you on the phones we want to get to. We'll get to AB. We'll get to our other caller that just called in as well.
Thomas.
We'll get to Thomas as well.
Big T.
Who do you like out of the list I've given you? 615-737-1045. We'll continue talking receivers. This is Receiver Week here in the show as we build up to the draft. Who does Ramon like for the Titans? Where have I persuaded you? Where have I not persuaded you? Where do you agree or disagree with me? We'll give Ramon the floor coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Brian's Motorsports, man. Well, their motto is, they believe this: you dream it, they design it, and build it for you as well. Dream, design, build. Whatever you're thinking about, from mile to mile, they can hook you up with their tire and wheel packages, lift kits, lighting kits, winches, interior and audio customizations, which I am thinking about again, and I'll be going to Brian's Motorsports to have it done, man. They do everything from wraps to lifts to winches, whatever you need need, they do. As I said before, whether you are on road or off road, they can transform your ride into a statement-making just vehicle that people just turn their heads for about. You can get your vehicle jacked all the way up to 30-plus inches, or you can drop it low as well, man. They do all types of variations of jobs now. What they do is they listen to you, the customer. They hear your vision. They put together your dream vehicle every single time. I've done numerous jobs with them, man, and they are just as thorough as you can get in. You guys know, like I know, in the car industry, trust is big. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can trust Bronze Motorsports. They're located 789 West Main Street in Hendersonville, Tennessee, or you go to all their socials at Bronze Motorsports, and make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
8:03, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Jets traded quarterback Justin Fields yesterday to the Kansas City Chiefs in exchange for a 2027 sixth-round draft pick pending a physical. The move come a week after the Jets acquired Geno Smith from the Las Vegas Raiders. At the World Baseball Classic last night, Venezuela beat Italy 4-2 in the semifinal. They'll take on the U.S. tonight with first pitch at 7 o'clock coming up on Fox. Mets pitcher Nolan McLean will get the start on the mound for the Americans, and Diamondbacks pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez will get the start on the mound for Venezuela. In Vols football news, Tennessee started spring practice yesterday. When asked about the quarterback battle between freshman Faison Brandon and redshirt freshman George McIntyre, head coach Josh Hypel said to not expect the guy to be named just yet, and they're more focused on the guys learning and growing throughout the spring. The Nashville Predators are back on the ice tonight in Winnipeg as they take on the Jets with a 7 p.m. puck drop. The Preds looking to avoid a third straight loss on the road. For all your foundation repair, waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the second half of your Tuesday morning. Hope it's been a good one so far. On a cold yet sunny St. Patrick's Day, Ramon Will, available wherever you download podcasts and on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, is in the middle of wide receiver week. If you're just joining us and tuning in to draft coverage, first of all, welcome. We're glad to have you. We have been spending time on a different position group each and every week. We started with edge rushers a few weeks ago. Tony Keeley kicks those conversations off on Mondays. Rhett Bryan adds his analysis on Wednesdays. We do blind resumes and NFL comparisons between current players and draft prospects on Fridays. We're doing receivers this week, and we've talked about a number of guys. Chris Bell at Louisville, Elijah Surratt at Indiana, Chris Brazel at Tennessee, Malachi Fields at Notre Dame, Jeremy Bernard at Alabama. Ramon, where have I persuaded you, and where do you think the Titans need to still add in terms of receiver types to help Cam Ward this offseason?
It's the threat that you mentioned too, and also we'll get to our calls, is the threat that you mentioned, somebody that can stretch this offense out wide, have an honest defense, which I don't know if the Titans had that last year. Everybody, I don't know, I won't say knew what you were going to do, but you kind of felt like the ball was going to be in front of you, which is why, in my personal opinion, the trick plays worked so well last year. The double passes, I think, to Alec's first touchdown from Cam's first touchdown was a trick play. Why? Because the offense is so shrunk. You know, it's down, it's tight to the line of scrimmage, finding the guy. So you've kind of convinced me. And Chris Bell, I don't know, fits that mold all the time other than his explosion out of the catches. But you convinced me on him. Elijah Surratt, I like as well. I personally am going to throw in Chris Brazel because I think there is something there that needs to be explored for the Titans if he's available, and he's their type. They got to figure that out as well. I got one more I want to throw into this mix too. Now, he's slight in size, but as far as more, I think, well-rounded than I think Zachariah Branch and Casey Concepcion is Brandon Thompson, Mississippi State.
Boy, he's so fast, isn't he? You saw him when Mississippi State played Tennessee.
Durability is going to be his issue. I think we knocked him out of that game, and their entire game plan changed whenever he left. But look at his pathway through college. I think it's 3 schools: Texas, Oklahoma again, I guess, his junior year, and 3 schools. And then Mississippi State. He ended up having 57 receptions for 1,054 yards at 18.5 yards per catch. Speed, demon. Now, it has him slated, projected as a 3rd rounder potentially. If he goes 4th and you're in that conversation for a down-the-field guy, he checks the box to me too. And if you can also get him on special teams, but you got Chimray as well. That was what I was also going to correlate him to. I feel like you got him and Chimray other than the fact that he's got good hands and also a 1,000-yard receiver coming out of college. I like Brennan.
I don't hate it at all. I don't hate it at all. And his ability to maybe be more of a deep threat and just make more of those tough catches deep down the field. Again, though, like to your point, and you said it, he's just so similar to Chimere DK.
Very much. Oh, that's the reason. Personally, we're talking about size and speed. I don't think if you're a Titans fan, you can be opposed to what Chris Brazzell provides to you.
Sure, right.
Yes, I'm evolved and he's
profile.
evolved too for the people that are listening. But just look at the ball player side of it as well. And by the way, we've mentioned Louisville and Alabama players as well.
And Tony Keeley gave us a couple other names yesterday, too, like Bryce Lance from North Dakota State.
Yeah.
Who may be a day 3 option.
No doubt.
As a big physical combat catcher down the field.
And Mr. Luke brings up the point, too, on Brandon Thompson. He absolutely went bananas on Texas this past year and against A&M as well.
Yep. Let's go to the phones. AB is in Nashville. What's up, AB?
Morning, AB. AB. Antonio Brown?
AB, you're on.
Hey, how's it going?
There we go.
What's up?
What's up, AB?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
We got you. Yep.
Hey, I just wanted to say I think Ellick is getting, y'all are being a little harsh. I think y'all are being a little bit harsh on Ellick this morning. I think he's going to be great as a wide receiver 3. He was up against a lot of top DBs last year. I'm also all about Chris Brazzell as the pick, whether in the second round, maybe even trading back in the second. I just want to hear y'all's thoughts on that.
Sure.
For sure.
Thanks, AB. Appreciate the call.
Harsh on Ellick. I'll entertain that conversation. Well, how about you on that one?
I mean, AB said we were being harsh on Ellick and then said, I think he's a good wide receiver 3. That's exactly what we're saying. Because I think we are judging him harshly as a wide receiver 2. Right?
Yeah. Yes. Last year, and we brought this up as well as I was looking at stuff just then. I think he was asked to do more than it was expected for a rookie. So the harshness that we're saying is, to your point, Elliot, he did get everybody's best cornerback.
He was exactly what you asked him to be as a 4th-round pick.
Yeah.
No question about it.
And as a rookie. Like, yeah, he got everyone's number 1 guy or number 2 guy, and I don't think he was ready for that. I think we talked about that when we spoke about Ellick earlier, and which is why, in my opinion, I think that's why he tabled off and started to descend. He wasn't ready for it, or he didn't know the adjustments to make for NFL cornerbacks last year.
No, I think Ellick Manor met his expectations before the season. The problem is he was so good before the season started that he raised the level of what we expected of him. And he started the season so well, too. I mean, he made some plays in Denver that we kind of moved the goalposts a little bit, and then we moved him back down to where he really ended up. That's actually probably about right for a rookie 4th-round pick.
I thought it was appropriate.
I think that's absolutely fair. I think the question is, can he step up and solve much bigger problems and questions now and take a step forward in year 2?
I'm glad you bring it up because I'm thinking of non-first rounders that turned themselves into guys. And now, I'll be lost on it when it comes to remembering which ones, but Puka Nacua ascended up. Now, great quarterback play also helps, which is why I feel it's fair that you and me both are in a position where we charge Cam. I think if you're a fan of football, you can't just hold your quarterback on a pedestal and say he's the guy and everybody else need to make. No, you got to charge Cam because Puka Nacua turned into a better wide receiver. George Pickens, with talent, turned into a better wide receiver as a non-first rounder. Looking at this list, Amon-Ra St. Brown is in this conversation. Nico Collins, to me, is the ultimate go over and beyond wide receiver that I think benefited from good quarterback play in C.J. Stroud's year with him, and also himself continually to elevate himself up to a position in which you feel that good about him. Wan'Dale Robinson is another one. Good quarterback play in a good system. That's where if you're asking what's a better role for either Chimere or Ellick, that's where you want to see Cam morph them into bigger names, bigger targets, bigger threats on game day.
I just would like for that to be an option and not the option.
I agree, but it'd be awesome payoff.
Well, just as far as Ellick is concerned.
Okay.
I want to give Cam more choices and more options. That way, one guy getting hurt doesn't leave you, respectfully, relying on Xavier Restrepo to save you. And Bryce Oliver, I think, is still going to be a part of this wide receiver room. Bryce Oliver.
The name for
Oh, you're talking about Restrepo. That's my point. You want young players with potential to, in a perfect world, be depth pieces.
Yeah.
It's the same way with Marcus Harris. You would love for Marcus Harris to be a guy in the quarterback room where he doesn't have to be the guy in year 2. Again, what are we asking of day 3 draft picks just 2 years into their NFL careers? I don't think we can rely on Elikiah Manor to go be a 700 or 800 yard wide receiver.
I put that on Cam and the offense.
I'll put it on whoever they decide to bring in. I think he is an option. I don't think that I'm willing to take that risk, though, on Elick taking that big of a jump forward.
I'm okay with taking that one. I am. Given the way this offense is set up, if Calvin is more outside and can go down the field, like at some point, if to our college, AB a second ago has this much faith into Elick, or the coaching staff as well sees something, and they decide to, you know what, we can start lightly transitioning over to him if he's beating guys in practice, if he's get to the preseason and you can see that he's able to be counted upon. What I'm getting at, I like in-house development. If you get a 4th round draft pick to ascend up solely because you just want to give him 8 targets a game and he's bringing in 6 of them and grows, I'm all right with that. I've seen this happen numerous times, though, as well in the NFL. A.J. Brown turned into that.
Well, A.J. Brown was a second round pick, and A.J. Brown had 1,000 yards his rookie season.
He did?
Manor had, yeah.
I didn't realize A.J. had a stack.
A.J.'s had 1,000 yards every season but one in his NFL career. A.J. Brown stepped into that room and was wide receiver 1. Yeah, no, I don't think you can compare A.J. Brown and Elikiah Manor. Elick is closer to Tajay Sharp than he was A.J. Brown. Yeah.
I'm willing to entertain it, though.
Well, in that case, then I don't think it's worth using a day 2 pick on a wide receiver if you believe that much in Elick.
No, it ain't the fact that I believe him, and I still want a day 2 pick at wide receiver because the more bodies you can have, the best it is for Cam and his team.
Well, I agree.
And you don't have to hit free agency.
That guy's going to play, though.
Yeah, he does.
Which is going to take snaps away from Elikiah Manor.
May the best man win. It's a dog-eat-dog league.
It is why I'm willing to take a risk on Chris Bell's knee. And coming off an ACL, because I like Elikiah Manor enough to be patient.
But you see him as
and go get the right guy. Elick?
Yeah.
You know the way I feel about this. I don't really view it as 1, 2, or 3. I view it as what kinds of routes can you run for me? And what kinds of plays can you succeed in? Like Wan'Dale Robinson is wide receiver 1 based off production, but he's not going to be deployed the same way Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase are, and those are wide receiver 1s.
True.
So that's... For me, like Elikiah Manor is your big target, 3rd down, gotta have it guy. Chris Bell, I think, has a little bit deeper of a bag in that, to where long term, Wan'Dale Robinson and Chris Bell are your 1 and 2 in whatever order, depending on the day, depending on the matchup. Chimere DK and Elikiah Manor are 3 and 4.
We'll talk more as we're up against the break a little bit, but the issue is, though, too, is this team doesn't have what Cincinnati, Seattle, and the premier Kansas City doesn't really have a true big-time one at this point.
Correct. I don't think you're looking for that in this draft. I think you're looking for it next year to go get your 1. Thomas is in Nashville. What's up, Thomas?
What's up, Thomas?
Hey, what's going on?
Morning.
I like hearing y'all argue over this. But to play devil's advocate, the weeks that Elick was playing good was when Calvin Ridley was still healthy, and that's when he was lined up with the 2s. So I think he has potential to be a good number 2 receiver. If he turns into a 1, that's a bonus too. But I mean, to be fair, when he got thrown in the fire and with Callahan calling plays, I mean, you can't really expect anybody to do too much.
Yeah.
Then I throw in, if he's at a 3 as your number 3 receiver, I mean, I like that for this team. But I still think we need another receiver. This might be a stretch. I would like to get him, but he probably won't get drafted before that, is Denzel Boston. But from Washington, and I hang up and listen.
Sure. Denzel Boston would be awesome, Thomas. I just agree with you. I don't think he gets out of the first round.
Too rich of a pick. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, no doubt.
If he was there at 35, then I'm
Sprinting.
I'd pull something sprinting to the podium. I just don't think he is. I'd love to be wrong.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We can go more into this if you want to, because
do it.
I definitely think this is a great conversation to have with where this team is with wide receiver talent.
Austin Price told us this morning he's on a boat for spring break, so he will not be joining us. Coming up next for our normal Vols discussion. Well, we can talk a little bit of Vols. We can take it where you want to with the wide receiver stuff, because more of you want to chime in. 615-737-1045 as Hour 3 continues next. If you're looking to buy or sell the Nashville real estate market, you know that it is a stressful process, and you need a local agent with years of experience and a proven track record. Hey, it's Will Bowling for my friend Bernie Gallerani of Bernie Gallerani Real Estate, the real estate agent with the 30-day guarantee. Who says there are no guarantees in life, or especially in real estate? There's no risk to you. Bernie Gallerini will let you out of the contract at any time because he guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it from you. If you're ready to sell your home, start by knowing its true value. Bernie Gallerini's new home estimator is fast, it's free, it's easy. The value estimator there at BernieGallerini.com. Just go right at the top of the homepage, click on how much is your home really worth. You may be shocked to learn how much your home is worth. Get the 30-day guarantee working for you by calling my good friend Bernie Gallerini, 615-428-2644. You can head online as well to BernieGallerini.com. Bernie is familiar with the market. He is a local agent with years of experience. Get the 30-day guarantee working for you. Call him at 615-428-2644 or head online to BernieGallerini.com. Ramon Will, hour number 3 continues. No visit with Austin Price today. He'll be back with us next week after a spring break. Open to your phone call, 615-737-1045. Going to get back into some Vols discussion. Haven't yet talked about Aiden Holloway's fiasco with Alabama basketball as well. Kind of wrapping a bow, Ramon, on our receiver talk today. Wan'Dale Robinson and Calvin Ridley have roles in the offense. Chimere DK and Elikai Manor are there to help you. We haven't talked about Gunnar Helm either, really being a part of the offense as kind of the dirty yard guy.
Dirty yard.
Yeah. How much pressure is on Cam Ward, though, for you to make these guys into bigger names? And where do you find that balance between, hey, Cam's got to throw more accurately down the field to give Alec and Chim a chance, and also maybe we need to get another receiver who's going to convert more of those deep passes into deep completions?
Man, it's a lot of pressure on Cam. To be a good quarterback is more than just having a powerful arm, having all the attributes. It's knowing when to go to guys, how to designate who your go-to guy is as well. Like, a lot of people get mad at wide receivers, and I can understand the why. They create a lot of noise. They always seem very selfish, but the way it was described to me, and I think most people should understand the context of it as well, is it's the one position on the field where you rely upon a guy's talent to make you successful as well. If I go and break down a cornerback in my route and I'm wide open right now, it's on you to give me the ball. And that's where Cam's got to be good. That's what Cam's got to be. He's got to, in my personal opinion, show a lot of growth into how to be like NFL ready to get the football out, even in the tight spaces, staying on schedule. Like, I know this 5-yard end is right there and you feel like you need to go down the field. Every meal ain't a feast. It's the way you got to kind of describe that to him, because the age-old question that we've had in football, who makes who at those two positions? Is it the wide receivers? Was it, Michael Irvin, or was it Troy Aikman? Was it Ben Roethlisberger or Antonio Brown? Was it Randy Moss or Dante Culpepper? Like, these are the questions that you have at that position. And I put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. I do. Everybody has you as the poster boy for the franchise. Number one, right or wrong. You usually have the biggest percentage of the pie when it comes down to the salary cap. And you touch the ball every single play. You can't miss. That's the reason I think we look so much into the completion percentage and quarterback rating and stuff like that, because how efficient are you being with the football? And I am a true believer, because I played with a guy that I saw make guys into stars. And good quarterbacks are capable of doing that. What is Puka Nacua without Matthew Stafford? Like, we have to ask these questions, right? Do quarterbacks need a lot of talent? Yes. Any good quarterback is begging for more. Josh Allen right now is begging for more wide receiver talent. But it's on him to make sure that he's on schedule and not just trying to play hero ball every single time you throw the pass down the field.
I think that's the question the Titans have got to ask about Cam and their offense and their need or lack thereof to draft a wide receiver. Does a better Cam Ward have what he needs? If Cam Ward takes a step, not because he's given more weapons, but because Cam Ward got better, and Cam Ward's footwork got better, and the system that Cam Ward's playing in allowed him to have a bit more separation deep down the field for his targets, do we have the weapons that he needs to where well-placed passes are caught? Yeah. I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
I don't know if they know the answer to that. So the gamble you could take is one of two things. Number one, Cam Ward is going to be better enough with the new pieces we've given him already to take a step forward without more draft compensation given to receiver. Hey, we feel like in this system, Elikai Manor is going to be a little more open. That window is going to be a little bit bigger. And Cam's going to throw a little bit more accurately. And all of a sudden, the 67.7 passer rating that Alec had when targeted last year goes up, because we feel like everyone around him is just taking a step, including Cam. The other side of the gamble is, let's go get another receiver because we don't feel like we have the guys in place to connect on enough of these in order for this offense to succeed. So you either believe that Alec Iamanair and Chimere Dike can catch more of the deep passes that were hitting the ground last season with everyone getting better, or you believe that you can go find that guy and that guy can connect more on those passes. Because Ramon, that is one of the biggest issues that faced this offense last year. The intermediate to deep passing game was pretty non-existent. It got a little better towards the end of the season, but when this team got behind the sticks, Cam didn't have anywhere to go with the football too often.
Right.
And when he did go somewhere with the football, he was either pressured so much to where the throw was inaccurate, but there were also plenty of times where he had time to throw and just wasn't connecting downfield with Alec Iamanair, with Chimere Dike, or with Calvin Ridley while he was still healthy, because a lot of those footballs hit the ground too.
For sure. I've seen be brought up in our conversation too, offensive line protection. Just based off watching Austin Slopeman's tape with the Giants this past year as well, who's newly signed center. On the Titans website, they got position C by his name. So he's at least going to be in competition for the starting center position. Figuring out the right guard. They're warm bodies. They're going to be in competition for them. I'm not sure if you're going to draft somebody that you're trying to have win that spot too. But I'll just say this. Unless there's a huge DNA change on Brian Daboll's offense, and he allowed whatever offense that was with the Giants last year. I told you in watching that tape, especially in watching Slopeman, like you didn't really find him in solo blocks like that. The Giants' offense to me that they ran last year, which I think aligns with what Jackson Dart is as a quarterback with his mobility and how he likes to move and what Cam does too, it looks like to me a good bit of what the San Francisco 49ers do. There's going to be a lot of left to right. There's a lot of, I don't want to say bootleg, but there's pocket movement to where protection is on the move or misdirection side of it as well. And that's where the timing is going to have to play a part in it, to where we've been having the conversation about Cam's accuracy. If this is a timing offense and there's a moving pocket and you are supposed to roll and set your feet and throw the ball, that's where the accuracy conversation comes into play. I'm not saying that this is going to be a quick pitch, move the pocket protection. He will have some drop backs, some 5-step, some 3-stop, some 7-step drop backs. But most of it, the way I've seen the Giants offense with what he did with Jackson Dart, is RPO all the time. Protection is going to be there. It's going to be on Cam to be smart to get rid of the ball on time or just throw it away, i.e. Caleb Williams to me. That's been my contingency is I'm okay with a smaller completion percentage if you are taking care of the ball and you're still able to score points with explosion.
So Jawan Jennings is still available. And he is a player we've talked a lot about with the Titans, considering the Robert Saleh connection, the Murfreesboro connection, and being the ultimate dirty yardage possession wide receiver. Third and Jawan, what they called it in San Francisco. Do you think there's anywhere else the Titans could now enter that market for his services, considering A, the money they have left, and B, the fact that he's still available at this point?
Absolutely. I think this is a pride signing for Jawan.
How so?
First wave is when you want to be gone.
First wave of free agency.
Of free agency.
Yeah.
He's now, what is this, 2.5 week of free agency?
Call this the second wave of free agency.
Second wave of free agency.
Maybe even third, honestly, because last week was kind of the second wave.
Being typecast sucks. It just does. And I feel like that's what he is. Probably everybody look at him and say, you're a 49er. And that's what he's presented himself as, is a San Francisco 49er. The other issue for Jawan is what kind of money are they probably offering him at this point in the second wave of free agency, and how much will his pride allow him to accept what's on the table? I view him probably as a middle 2, to some teams, a 3. That's just the role that he's played with San Francisco. That doesn't warrant $20 million. I don't even think that warrants 15. To me, if to maximize his next year, he's probably going to have to end up signing, to your point about the Titans having money, a 1 year, $10 million up to $12 million with incentives based on production. I don't know if he's going to get a long-term deal when you're a wide receiver at his age, not even in your 30s yet, that still has capability of playing. Because the other side of Jawan's game is, and you love it, is he might cost you 15 yards. He may be in a position to where as much on-field, I guess, skirmishes that he's had, he might find himself sidelined for a week. The attitude that comes along with it, is it worth it? Is the comeback catching a part of it? Absolutely. But when you find a wide receiver that's still young enough to get a multi-year deal, hasn't signed one just yet, I hate it for him because I've seen guys be in this spot, but pride of what you're willing to publicly accept is probably the reason why at this point. Because if you had numerous offers that you love, you're signed right now. So, yes, the Titans should go to have that conversation.
I think you go to Juwan and say, 1 year, prove it with us.
Absolutely.
Take off the 49ers colors and give yourself film somewhere else in a position to where you could be wide receiver 2. Because to me, if you sign Juwan Jennings, him and Calvin Ridley are kind of splitting wide receiver 2.
I can see that here.
They're doing different things for you. And again, it goes back to our point. Like, I don't think coaches see it as this is my 2, this is my 3, this is my 4. They see it as what can you do for me and what routes are you successful in and how can I deploy you in critical moments. But yes, I would certainly be having that conversation if I was Mike Borgonzi, if I was the Titans. Now that it's gotten to this point in Juwan's free agency, I think you could feasibly double dip on him and Wan'Dale Robinson.
You could. I would pull on the strings. You come home. You've been getting taxed like crazy in California. Come over here and get some of this this no state tax in Tennessee and see how your checks look. But just prove it for 1 year.
Is he too much of a slot, considering you already have 2 slot receivers in Wan'Dale Robinson and in Chimere Dike?
He's a weapon for me. This is the way I view him. Is he too much of a slot? No. I think if you're smart as an offensive play caller, the way Daboll's been praised around this league, you'll find a way. Just get him in a room.
Yeah, last year, 238 snaps at slot, 642 out wide.
Yeah, no, not too much for me.
I still love Juwan because I think he helps address your most glaring issue in your offense last year, which was your inability to convert on third down.
Yeah.
You have the money to do it.
Plenty. And like I said, at this point, me knowing how this industry works, those numbers aren't where he wants them to be right now. And it's just holding out for the best case scenario and see who comes up with a major need.
If they don't sign Juwan Jennings, I think they're telling us they're drafting a receiver they feel like could become their Juwan Jennings. Go find the next one.
That's his problem.
It's either that Elikai Manor is your next Juwan with his skill set, or you feel like you can go get someone else in the draft that can round out your receiver room for the next 5 years versus maybe 3 max. Because Juwan is going to be 29 next season. He's getting older. We were at Tennessee at the same time. We graduated high school the same year.
Yeah. It's a tough place for a guy like him.
It is.
Especially this year, too. You just mentioned the draft is full of Juwan Jennings.
If he came down to 1 year, 14, would you do that?
Nope. At this point, I got you. I would tell him 1 year, 8 to 10 with incentives is where I'm at. And I'm players given this type. I'm a former player given this type of deal, and it seems very anti-player. But this is just how the business goes.
Yeah, it sure is.
At this point, just get in here and show us what you're capable of. Players have had to go to other places and prove themselves as well.
Just go get Brazel and Juwan. Just have a Tennessee receiving core.
Yeah, I mean, Diggs is a different conversation, but Stephon Diggs had to go prove it.
We'd call them the wide Tennesseevers.
No, seriously.
No.
I'll allow it.
Not good?
I'll allow it, though, because it's bold to just say that. The wild Tennessee.
Wide Tennesseevers.
Tennesseevers. That's a bold take right there.
I don't know. 615-737-1045. Just do it for the name alone. Coming up, Aiden Holloway in big trouble. Alabama trying to figure out where to go next. The latest on an Alabama star exiting the fray, heading into a matchup with Hofstra after this.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls. That is the website, medicalhousecalls.com. And it's exactly as they said. If you have a medical issue, you can set up an appointment at medicalhousecalls.com and they will come to your house, usually same day, but next day guaranteed as well. You can call or text them as well. You don't even have to get on the phone with them. You do everything online or through your phone as well at 615-838-2375. And everything from primary health care to urgent care, IV therapy, medical weight loss even. The process is this. They want to be able to come to you wherever you are. We speak all the time on the health and well-being of yourselves all the time. And this is one of those ways to knock that out. That yearly visit that you have to have, those check-ins, those medical labs that you need to take. If you need blood drawn, they can do that as well. If you're feeling a little bit under the weather, this is where the IV therapy kicks in. You can call them over to bring your bag of vitamins and get you service as quick as possible. I've personally done that with myself. With everybody that have such a busy schedule and can't get to the doctor, this is your way of doing it right now. MedicalHouseCalls.com or simply call them or text them at 615-838-2375.
Ramon Will at 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up hour number 3. And Alabama's Aiden Holloway is in big trouble, Ramon. And I don't think he's going to play basketball this weekend either in Tampa.
Right.
Feels like a safe assumption at this point. Facing 2 felony drug charges. According to Tuscaloosa County Police, police spokesperson Stephanie Taylor said Aiden Holloway, the Alabama guard, was arrested Monday morning and transported to county jail after agents with the West Alabama Narcotics Task Force searched a residence near Alabama's campus and recovered more than a pound of marijuana, paraphernalia, and cash. Police said Holloway will be charged with first-degree possession of marijuana, not for personal use, which is a Class C felony, and failure to affix a tax stamp, also a felony. Bond set at $5,000. He was released from jail at 10:45 a.m. yesterday. Per Alabama law, the possession charge can carry a penalty of up to 10 years in jail and a fine of $15,000. Nate Oates said yesterday they are planning on playing without him.
I bet.
And the student conduct process has to now unfold at this point. Ramon, what are we doing, man?
I just want to use the old half-baked just quote in that movie. You in here over marijuana? Like, legitimately.
A pound is crazy.
That boy was getting to it. He was trapping is what he was doing. Like, I get it. Some guys have their stash they just pull out of, but like a pound of weed is insane to me, while also getting NIL at one of the biggest universities that supported it in Alabama. It just goes to show, like, decisions are always at the top of mind in these type of situations. I know everybody comes from different backgrounds, and you're just always trying to find ways to make money. This is the way you just get an excitement from it. And I'm probably not making a lot of sense for people, but I'm not sure. I see he's Canadian-American. I'm not sure what his upbringing is as far as how he got to this point to where he felt he was smart enough to just be selling weed or holding a pound of weed on him. I'd like to think this was for personal use, maybe for him and his teammates, and he the one that got caught. But that's just one heck of a way to take a fall at one of the highest moments in your life when I'm sure you got some stream of income coming in as well. I always wrestle with guys in these type of situations. Like, I always tell guys, like, are there some street guys that go to school? Absolutely. There's people from all type of demographics in college. But bringing your upbringing to college is never smart. I don't care if you come from a ritzy side of town or you come from the slums. Like, you got to just be a college student at that point, and clearly Aiden Holloway lost his way on this one.
Alabama starting off their NCAA tournament run with Hofstra on Friday afternoon in Tampa. If they were to advance to the round of 32, the winner of Texas Tech and Akron will be waiting on Sunday. I don't know, man. These things just kind of tend to find Nate Oates.
They do. It's the second big one.
Yep.
This is the second big one. I'm trying to see what his valuation was, Aiden Holloway. I got a feling it's not small.
What do you mean by valuation?
From NIL. They'll show college basketball valuation and stuff like that. I'm just fascinated to see what his could be. And I guarantee it's not pennies if you're looking at it in that context, man.
No question.
Yeah. But to your point, I really don't even blame Nate Oates, even though this is the second one that he's had. On
three doesn't have a.
They don't have
one for him.
He came out as a 4-star, and he's been there, and I'm sure he's made something over his career.
Oh, there's no question.
It's just
transfer from Auburn. Oh, yeah. There you go. $247,000 is his on-3 NIL valuation.
It's a good living, unless
his roster value is $159,000.
Unless he's trying to live like Phylon. Who is it? Phylon's there.
LeBaron Phylon.
Yeah. Unless he's trying to live like him, like actual wage is what I would tell guys like that is getting $200,000 in a year.
As Slay has trademarked Phylon.
Absolutely. He used it last night on ESPN as well.
Love it.
Finally, and since Jason Williams stole it from him. Jay Will tried to steal it from him.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't even do it right.
Jason Williams, different guy.
Duke Jay Will.
That's
Babs right. Jay Will.
That's your guy, Babs.
That's your guy.
No, yeah. Slay is also Babs' guy.
But it's just a sad case of not being able to let go old things is what it is. And I'd guess Aiden Holloway didn't grow up this way as well.
Tonight at 5:40, the NCAA tournament begins on True TV. Happy True TV Awareness Day to all those who celebrate. UMBC, the Retrievers, take on the Bison of Howard. Do we know what conferences these teams are in? UMBC, what conference is UMBC in?
AAC?
Oh, they're not the American.
They're not the American.
UMBC?
That's Maryland.
UMBC is tiny. University of Maryland, Baltimore College.
College.
Right?
I ain't got a
That's
clue.
what it stands for.
You're right. I looked them up the other day. I didn't look up the conference stuff.
Justin, UMBC almost gave it away.
I have no idea.
America East.
That's it?
What about Howard? Where's Howard? This one is easier.
It ain't the swag.
Nope.
Howard?
What conference is
Big
Howard
East.
in?
It's not Big East.
No.
I ain't got a clue.
Really?
I should know this.
Yeah, I got to brush up on your conferences. What the heck? Man?
Isn't it you with the answers over
It's
there?
not that hard.
Look at him with the
It's
answers.
not hard, but I can't. I don't. My words don't work.
They are in the MEAC.
MEAC.
Meow.
Nope.
What does the MEAC stand for?
Mid-East Athletic Conference,
Mid-East Athletic Conference.
I believe.
Okay. The MEAC. You're probably right. That sounds correct.
Mid-Eastern.
Mid-Eastern, yeah. And then after that, NC State, Texas tonight, the other first four game. I just saw the Dan Patrick Show put a poll out there. Does the NCAA tournament really start tonight or Thursday?
It's
Thursday.
tonight. It's technically tonight.
Two different
to
answers
play
at the
in.
same time.
These Tuesday games are usually pretty legit though as well.
Yeah, there's always one really fun one.
Yeah, usually.
No, it starts tonight.
Yeah, it's tonight. Who said?
What do you call a play-in?
This isn't playing. It's the first four.
Yeah.
It's not branded as playing.
Come on.
You're in the tournament.
It's a play-in.
No.
You got dad brain over here already.
What do you?
The NCAA tournament starts tonight. If I hear the dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, and I watch the same 5 commercials during a game, that's one clue that the NCAA tournament has
I
begun.
can tell you when it.
Go tell UMBC they didn't make the NCAA tournament. Of course they made the NCAA tournament.
When Charles Barkley and Spike Lee and Samuel L. Jackson start coming on TV, the tournament is starting.
When Charles Barkley tells me about no fees or minimums with a Capital One venture card, that's how I know that the NCAA tournament has really begun.
So real. So real. Hey, man, Savage, stop. Stop, Ron Slade. Don't do this. He's mad that we don't know the conferences like this. I wish this show would just go off today. Don't do this, Savage. We've been giving you
the
your
NCAA
praises.
tournament starts tonight. I'll be locked in.
I will too.
Howard and UMBC. The Retrievers are back. Very back. You have upset your brother. You've upset ESPN's Ron Slade.
Once I've upset Duck as well, side-eyeing me for not knowing Howard's response. I didn't know the conference there. They ain't have a football team like that.
That's crazy.
They do have one. And the homecoming is legit. See, that was also where Diddy was, Duck. Why do you know it?
All right. Anyway, coming up, what Josh Hypel said at the beginning of spring practice about Tennessee's quarterback competition after this. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Early to mid-March is an odd time of transition. Cold and flu season is losing its grip. Spring is beginning to bloom. Probably doesn't feel like it right now, but look at the weather later this week. It's definitely going to bloom. It's that time for spring cleaning. It's time to completely rid your home of cold and flu season germs as we all look forward to welcoming spring and maybe welcoming some company around the house. We're going to tell you that Zero Res is going to give you the smartest and most lasting clean because Zero Res has the science of CR water working in their favor. There's no harsh chemicals, no soap residue, faster dry times, and those carpets are going to stay cleaner longer. It means soft, fluffy carpets that are going to last So make sure you get your money's worth with that clean, and make sure you get the smartest and most lasting clean by getting Zero Res out there to the house. The Google reviews, the Facebook reviews, excellent. Great service, great advice that are going to really help you with no harsh chemicals, which means pure safety for your family and pets as well. Book online at ZeroResNashville.com. 615-535-9376 is the number. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. 615-535-9376. And don't forget to ask about their air duct cleaning.
9:03, good morning, live from the Circus Sports, the Main Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Yesterday, the Jets traded quarterback Justin Fields to the Chiefs in exchange for a 2027 sixth-round pick, pending a physical. The move comes a week after the Jets acquired Geno Smith from the Las Vegas Raiders. World Baseball Classic last night, Venezuela beat Italy 4-2 in the semifinal. Tonight, they'll face the Americans. The U.S. tonight at first pitch, 7 o'clock on Fox. Mets pitcher Nolan McClain gets the start on the mound for the Americans, and Diamondbacks pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez gets the start on the mound for Venezuela. Falls football news. Tennessee started spring practice yesterday. When asked about the quarterback battle between freshman Faison Brandon and redshirt freshman George McIntyre, head coach Josh Hypel said to not expect the guy to be named just yet. They're more focused on the guys learning and growing throughout the spring ball. The Nashville Predators are back on the ice tonight in Winnipeg as they take on the Jets with a 7 o'clock puck drop. The Preds are looking to avoid a third straight loss on the road. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
So the Tennessee quarterback battle has officially begun in Knoxville as the race begins to take the first snap come Labor Day weekend. Ramon Will rolls into hour 4. Taylor Zarzer will join us in studio. Talk some Titans here in just about 15 minutes. Ramon, Josh Hypel yesterday begins the quarterback competition with a 20-minute press conference, pretty long from him.
It is lengthy.
And media gets their first look at a new practice routine in some ways, at two new quarterbacks who are battling to be the starter. How surprised would you be to see Faison Brandon named the starting quarterback week 1 when Tennessee takes the field?
Very. One, that Hype will actually start a true freshman, and two, that he actually beat out George McIntyre, if that's the case. If all reports are this is a real, true open competition, and he does win, and Hype chooses to go with them, I think most Vols fans should be settled in the idea that it was earned, not given. That Faison Brandon has an immense amount of talent if he does beat out George Pickens, and buckle up no matter what when it comes down to what he looks like on the field. The other part of the history of Hypel being able to do this too is if there's a quarterback that's better in games, then Hypel's not afraid to go to him as well, because that was the Joe Milton, Hendon Hooker conversation or scenario that played out in 21 and 22 also. Practice is one thing, games is another. But it'll show, too, that recruiting is correct based upon they identify Faison Brandon as an 8th grader and stayed on him and with him through the entire process, too. So it confirms a lot of stuff, but it raises a lot of questions with what this season could look like for the Vols, too.
Well, the question is, did they do that? Did they invest that time in recruiting him because they felt like he can contribute right away, or that once they get him up to speed, he could be legit? I think it's a foregone conclusion that just because, to your point, I'm agreeing with you that they went after him from very early on in his recruitment. That doesn't necessarily mean that they believed he'd be ready right away.
No.
I think it's George's job to lose. I'm thinking back to last year, Ramon, when Nico left.
Not even a year still.
Yeah, right. I mean, it truly, we are 11 months removed from that happening.
Yeah.
To show you how quickly things could change in this sport. Obviously, there's no spring transfer window anymore, but
thank God.
Point still stands. What do you remember hearing about George McIntyre last year when we considered him a serious option in the quarterback battle?
That the arm was there. The accuracy of him being able to throw the deep ball down the field was there, too. He's got the strength, even at his slight size. And you got to remember, he's 6'6", or around that height anyway. Well, he's above 6'4", is what I would say. Even with that weight, the strength was there. The accuracy and the zip on the ball was aligned as well. And his connection down the field, which I saw in a close practice around this time last year, his ability to throw the ball deep was there. Now, his processing is unique, and it's got to get caught up to speed. The other part, too, that you brought up, because you watched him in high school more than probably almost anybody that's reporting on him, is he's an athlete.
He is definitely an athlete. I don't think he gets enough credit for that.
He's got wheels.
In a lot of ways, his skill set mirrors Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah.
If you've not watched George McIntyre play, I think he's pretty similar in terms of what he does well to what Nico did well before he played. He is a wiry, long athlete who can throw an accurate deep ball, who's got a pretty big arm, and is going to look really thin based off how tall they are and just how much they haven't yet really grown into what they will look like as they get older.
No doubt. I'm excited for what George can turn into. I personally, before this whole conversation went into this offseason about do you go get the other quarterbacks that were in the transfer portal, Arizona State's transfer quarterback.
Sam Levitt, who's at LSU. Yeah.
All the other names that came up, I was initially on the George train, but understanding what you need in today's football world in the SEC, the experience plays a factor in it as well. I'm not afraid to go into games with a less experienced guy, because if you're a true coach and you're a true program, it should be the development of those said players that you are asked to recruit and that you paid to keep on campus. It wouldn't shock me if George is collecting, even in a year that he didn't play, just the way the quarterback position goes, 7 figures. Like, let's be honest about that. Why would I not put him out there on the football field? And the same goes for Faison as well, which is why I said, considering what George's talent is and how they recruited him, I'd be shocked if he didn't win it. But if he doesn't win it, the guy behind him must be killing it, and that's Faison Brandon.
Eric Kane wrote in his practice report at VolQuest yesterday, Faison Brandon has really good arm strength. He made all the throws and made it look easy. He was clearly watching George go through drills as it was his first practice. George McIntyre's footwork, he says, is ahead of Faison's on day one. That was a clear indication, but also not a surprise given he has been in the system a full year longer. McIntyre carried himself like QB1, first in all the drills, knew what to do. Again, no surprise, but he looked good while the media was on hand, really accurate with the football. Get ready to nitpick everything that we see from both these guys for the foreseeable future.
No doubt about it. And we should.
Yeah, it's part of it.
This is, what is it, Tristan Key's watch, except it's in real time again.
That's right.
And a lot is going into this season. Hypel's re-imaging of himself, this offense, the defensive side of it as well.
It's a new-look Tennessee program in a lot of ways.
Are we one of the few programs this year, aside from Florida, that's going into it with a competition like this? I guess Kentucky
Open quarterback competition? Well, look at Alabama. Austin Mack versus Keelan Russell.
This is true.
Yeah. No, there are a fair amount of teams going through this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as many as there used to be, though, considering
you just
Byron Brown is at Auburn and Sam Levitt is at LSU, and a lot of these first-year coaches brought guys with them, or they just brought guys from somewhere to them.
I got to get caught up on SEC ball because I'm trying to figure out where Florida went with the quarterback position.
Aaron Philo.
You remember where from?
Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't stay after King Haynes?
I mean, his OC left. Buster Faulkner is the OC at Florida.
That's right. He did pull that from that group.
With John Summerall.
So much news.
A lot of news stuff. I know.
Yeah, this needs to have a transaction period the way NFL does.
Kenny Minchie at Kentucky.
Minchie?
And we do a spring refresh.
We need to.
Where everyone landed.
We're under a month for spring games.
Let's hear from Josh Hypel talking about the quarterback battle. This is how he answered the first questions on quarterback competition yesterday.
You know, they've had a good winter with the introduction of some of the things that we're doing offensively. George obviously has more time on task with the general basis of what we're doing. But as those guys have come into the program, you know, gaining an understanding of what we're doing, the communication, you know, how they're calling protections, adjusting protections, our run game rules, being able to control everything that we're doing, and then, you know, starting to master what's going on the back end from the defensive structures as well, and ultimately become a guy that is playing extremely efficiently, starts with their eyes, being able to see things, work through their progression and the fundamentals and the technique to deliver the ball consistently and accurately. That guy's got to play on edge. He's got to go make plays, but he's also got to take care of the football.
Josh, since Joey isn't coming back, that quarterback position obviously is open. How open is it? How open is that position? How open should those three guys see that position and their opportunity?
Yeah, it is open. We had that, conversation with all of them as we started the winter when they all arrived here. I had that conversation again as we were wrapping up our winter before we got into spring ball. We've had a couple of those battles. You guys know that we always communicate with those guys openly, transparently, communicate with those guys together. Don't expect a guy to be named here during the course of spring ball. I think it's important that all the guys in that room learn and grow throughout the course of spring, also have a chance to go back, in your summer months, digest it, reinstall, and come back a much better player and compete and earn it in front of their teammates as you get into training camp.
It's Josh Hypel speaking yesterday to the media. Spring practice is here. Love it.
We're back.
We are very back. Taylor Zarzour is back in the building. Voice of the Titans. About to join us real quick. Nick Kelly, friend of the show, AL.com. Police say they found 964 grams of marijuana. That's 2.1 pounds.
Hell yeah.
In the residence of Alabama star Aiden Holloway.
Booming out the bando.
He told them, quote, he only smokes.
He might. It might be his personal stash bag.
Taylor Zarzour joins us
I
coming
choose
up
to
next.
believe it.
Ramon Will at 104.5 The Zone continues. Hour 4 talking Titans, talking football. And when you hear Eric Church, Taylor Zarzer's here in studio. What's up? Good morning.
Hello, my friends. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
You too.
Happy. You got an appropriate hat on as well.
I mean, they say you have to wear green on St. Patrick's Day. So, as a lover of the game of golf, I mean, there's only one kind of green to wear on St. Patrick's Day, right?
Within a month
awesome.
Of the Masters.
Phenomenal, man.
You got a little Masters polo on today for you and a Masters hat.
I love it.
I like it.
You told us in the break we could break some news this morning. Do you want to go ahead and do this now?
Go ahead. What would you like to say?
Let's do it.
Taylor Zarzer is going to be the radio play-by-play broadcaster for the Masters coming up in less than a month. This is awesome. Congratulations.
Congrats, man.
It is. It's surreal. I love that place very much, and this will be my 18th year. My goodness.
Wow.
18th year going there in some capacity, either for local radio or for national radio. And I've done the pregame and the postgame show many years. I've been on the play-by-play team the last handful of years. My man, Mr. Tirico, has had a very busy 2026. He's been the voice of the Masters the last handful of years. And because of the Super Bowl, the Olympics, and Sunday night basketball, I think Mr. Tirico has deserved a week off.
Yeah.
And I really hope he's back with us in 2027. But I'm happy to jump in there in 2026. My man, Kevin Kisner from right down the street in Aiken, South Carolina.
Nice.
Will be our lead analyst on the Masters. And we will have lots of Titans fans there around us in the building and out on the golf course as well. Last year, it had just been announced that week that I was moving here to Nashville, and there were a lot of people on the grounds that were screaming "Tighten up" at me, including a person that works in our office for the Tennessee Titans, Adolfo Birch. He was right outside he's my guy, man.
He's my guy, man.
He's right outside the plexiglass where our little booth is, Ramon, on the 18th hole, and he's like, "The voice, tighten up."
That's awesome.
So I'm excited to see all the Titans fans there at Augusta National. But yes, this is it's a very big thing, and I'm very grateful for it.
Absolutely.
Alpha would be a golf Masters guy. I saw him one day cruising, by the way, and I'm just like, you can see he got some style about him. Drop top vehicle just rolling. I'm just like, okay, I see you. I see the hard work paying off. I ain't gonna say what kind of vehicle it was, but it was a nice one. You hear me?
That's great.
It was. I was like, look at my guy, Adolfo. Same fraternity too, as well. It's pretty
really?
cool. So yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, man. So he and I have a relationship. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
no doubt.
he's awesome.
Good dude.
I love it. It was a good weekend for golf too, with Players Championship. But we're here to talk Titans. I'm gonna hold back the golf stuff.
You came in here with all this.
About.
Let me ask it then real quick. On the Masters broadcast, as far as you call it, one, the pressure. Screw the pressure. You'll be prepped for it. Do you go from like first hole to 17th hole, like the updates? Like how does that process go? This isn't a one field set play.
That is such a good question, Ramon.
Yeah.
And it is a very different experience than calling a football game on television or the radio. Yeah. And as you know from doing it last year for UT, everything's right in front of you. You're all the senses, and you're detailing everything that happens right in front of you. Different story in golf where next week I'm doing the Houston tournament for PGA Tour Live, and they'll in my ear the producer will say, "We're going to 17, Will bowling, second shot." And then you have to say something that the viewer can already see. Mm-hmm. Bowling, who's bogeyed this hole every day this week, like you have to advance the narrative, if you will. But on the radio, they will say, we're either going to someone that's on that hole that's calling it for us. Let's say Ramon is following a group on the 16th hole, and you're there. Then the producer will say, send it to Ramon on 16, and I'll toss it to you. Or he'll say, you call it 17. Okay. And so it's that process. You have a handful of different reporters that are stationed at different places on the golf course at Augusta National. Okay. And then you have me in the booth in our main position there at Augusta National calling when we don't have someone out at those different positions, and then going out to 18 to make the final calls. So it's a lot because you're right. It's coming at you in bullets, and you can't see it until they show it to you. They'll punch a screen up and say, okay, here's what you're calling next. And you have 2-3 seconds to really think about it and say, okay, what am I going to say next? On the radio, you have to give all the senses and be very detailed. On television, you have to tell everyone that bowling is bogeyed this hole every single day. So it is. It's
play bogey golf. That's awesome.
It's a very different experience in calling football, but those are my two loves, man, football and golf.
Are you up on the rules of the Masters? Because we're not spectators. We're
the patrons. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The first cut, the second cut.
Oh, yeah. The first nine, the second nine.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Yes, sir. I do have a nice document that reminds me of all these rules that I refer to quite often. But, yes, I am very up to speed on this. My love for Augusta National Golf Club and that tournament runs very deep and has my entire life. So if there's anything I'm knowledgeable about, it's that. But I can't wait to get there. It'll be a lot of fun.
That's good stuff.
I love listening to Nashvilleian Jim Nantz calls the Masters.
Yes.
But something's telling me that I'm going to be, sorry, Jim, turning down the audio and syncing up the radio with it as I drink my azaleas and eat my pimentos and cheese this year.
Yes, well, I'm very proud of him, too. He is an incredible friend. He's so dedicated to this community, and I look forward to being there with him. We get to spend some meaningful time together during the Masters, and it's going to be cool for two Nashville residents to get to do those things.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the Titans of Tennessee, Taylor Zarzer. A rebrand last week, a bunch of free agents. I know the comment was made of they've got a member of the orchestra for every new player that's been signed by the Tennessee Titans this offseason. I know you've had the chance to be around some of these new players, and obviously you've seen all the moves that they've made. What is the common thread? What stands out to you about the group of players that Mike Borgonzi and this front office have brought in?
If these guys can play half as well as they can talk, then we're in really good shape for the Titans in 2026. That's the big thing that stands out to me. All these guys are leaders. Well, I had a chance to interview all of them. Shameless plug, the OTP will be coming out this week, and it'll have all of the new Titans on the OTP, so that'll be fun. But I was really blown away at just how effective they are as communicators. And I think that that's by design, right? Mike Borgonzi said this to me almost every day in practice last year. On the field, he would say, we become a championship level team when the team runs the team, when the players run the team. And you can tell, and I kept thinking about him saying that as I was talking to Cordell Flott, as I was talking to Alante Taylor. I know how fired up both of you are about that, by the way. Wandale Robinson, Bellinger, John Franklin Myers, Jermaine Johnson, as all these guys came through and all of them were so effective at communicating, I thought, this is what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. You know, you have Jeffrey Simmons, who already is wired that way. Now you have a bunch of guys that are wired like Jeffrey Simmons that are on this team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And they've added some good pieces on the offensive side, too. So that was the first thing, is just they're really effective communicators. When they walk into the room, you think, man, these guys look the part as well. I think that one thing that I was really struck by is, as we were watching the Titans last year, especially through injury, we thought, gosh, if you give the opposing quarterback time, it's going to be trouble for the Titans secondary. Now you go out and you get Cordell Flott and Alante Taylor. You get a couple of safeties as well. I mean, you have depth at the cornerback spot. Marcus Harris is coming back too. At the safety spot, you go and you get some help, and you got Kevin Winston coming back, and you have Amani Hooker. Now all of a sudden you've got like 8-9 guys you go into camp with, and you're like, all right, we've got some real competition going out here for who's going to get reps on the field. So they've turned, I think, what was maybe perceived to be a weakness, certainly at the end of the year after a rash of injuries, into a strength going into it. The entire defense, really at the first line and at the third line, if you will, on the front and in the secondary, on the back end, the Titans now have a lot of depth, and I think that's a That's a wonderful thing, and I think Titans fans are very excited about that.
You mentioned something real quick before you go, Will, like the importance of having more than just one sounding board, where last year's, the year before, it was just Jeffrey Simmons and.
Right.
That adds a lot of unwanted pressure to guys to be speaking for the entire team. I know a lot of people are thinking, well, he's paid that amount of money to speak for this team and hold everybody accountable, but as far as your teammates go, though, as far as having more than one voice, more than one guy you can look up to, it just creates a better environment to where your message, Jeffrey's, doesn't get old, or Jeffrey doesn't get tired of saying the same thing and feeling like you become old man in the room. That's what, to your point, bringing in guys that know how to communicate and be pros is beneficial to a team.
No question about it. And I think there are going to be a number of times in training camp, Ramon, where Jeffrey is about to say something, and then JFM, as everybody's going to call him, or Maine, as everybody calls him, Jermaine. He's got a huge chain that says Maine on his that he's wearing, by the way. Everybody, whether it's Maine or JFM or Tay, as everybody calls him, Alante, Jeffrey is going to be he's going to be ready to talk, and they're going to step up, and he's going to say thank you.
Yeah, because you don't want your message to grow old, and that's where – like I said, Jeff's getting older, and he's been around and seen the ups and downs, and that matters. Having support as a teammate to where everybody's message is the same. You're right. If Borgazzi said where the team speaks for itself and runs it, that's what you want.
And make no mistake, there's a lot of talent that's come into this team, too. It's not just leadership, Will. Yeah. I actually shared this with your boy, Alante Taylor, last week when we were talking. This will come out on the OTP. I said, I work with this guy named Will Bowling, and we're watching the Saints-Titans game, and you're just all over the field. And I said, Will sits right behind me, and after one play, I turn around and look at him, and he's just nodding his head. Bring him to Nashville. And I said, did you think about that? And he said, absolutely. He said, I had not been in that stadium since he came here when he was in high school. He and his buddy bought some tickets and drove up from Manchester and came to a Titans game. And he said, hadn't been in that stadium since. And I thought about that day. I thought about, man, I want to play in the stadium all the time. And I said, well, so did we.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I love that. Just for one season, then the new one across the street, of course. Taylor Zarzer voiced the Titans with us in studio. I'm really curious on Wan'Dale Robinson and the familiarity with the system, and a guy who really exploded when he could run more routes. And we had Jordan Renan on of ESPN who told us he went to Brian Dable and the coaching staff before last season saying, I want to do more and I can do more. And they rewarded him with more opportunities. He rewarded them with his first 1,000-yard season. We are seeing this so much in college football, Taylor, as you know, in the transfer portal, to where when you have a coaching change or a coordinator come in, that guy brings his guys. And all of a sudden, the transition to a new scheme and a new staff is not as harsh. It's not as difficult in year one because you have baked-in experience. Obviously, you can't do that with an entire roster in the NFL with a salary cap because college doesn't have a salary cap, as we obviously know. But the ability to bring in Wan'Dale Robinson, who has a defined role in this offense, what stands out about how he can help this team?
Well, I think that it's incumbent upon a lot of other things. First of all, he can help the offense in a myriad of ways. I mean, whether he's in the slot or he can be a deep ball threat. But guys, if Gunnar Helm takes the next step and still catches a lot of balls like he did this year and becomes the primary tight end target, Alec Iomanner's a mid-level option on the field. Chim Dike's a line of scrimmage option. Please, Lord, if Calvin Ridley plays in every game and is flying down the field running verticals, then you know what that means for Wan'Dale Robinson? That means you have to cover every piece of grass if you're covering Wan'Dale Robinson, because Robinson will line up in the slot and he can beat you on a 10, 12-yard route that gets you a first down, or he can fly down the field and hit his head on the goalpost. He can do it all. He can do both of those things. He can fly, but he also can be a possession receiver in the slot. So you're going to have to cover him all over the field if you have those other options with Ridley, Iomanner, Dike, and Helm. You know, if there's some combination of those guys also on the field, then all of a sudden, instead of no one respecting the Titans deep down the field, which was the case at the end of the year. Now you got to respect every blade of grass, and that changes the offense completely. Going back to Will's point too, Ramon, about Brian Dable, bringing in guys that are familiar with Dable. You've got a guy on the sideline in Mitch Trubisky now as your backup quarterback. You have Bellinger, who's an incredible blocker. Our buddy Bob Papa, the voice of the Giants, he called me last week and he goes, "You stole all my guys, man." And he was like, "I watch Wandale against Cordale in practice every day, and now you get to watch that." And Bellinger, he was really high on Bellinger. He said, Bellinger is such a good blocker.
I have a different take on him as well. Like I think Bellinger, to your point, can carve out a very nice role for a team.
Yeah.
And the other side too, as well, as far as the Titans taking all the players, is they paid him a pretty penny to be in a bigger role. I feel like, again, Gunnar Helm and him together is going to be fascinating to watch how they divvy up what happens in 2026.
Yeah, I think so. And he's sneaky good on third down, catching balls. Yeah. So I don't know if in totality, if Gunnar and Belly, as he's called, catch as many balls as Chig and Gunnar did, combined throughout the course of the year. But I think you have two good options there.
It's going to be interesting, too, just the way they can use two tight ends together. I mean, to me, going to get Bellinger tells me that this is a team that wants to be in more 12 personnel, two tight end sets, because they value the versatility of someone who can not only catch, but can do a job for them blocking as well.
Yeah, and who are they blocking for? I know is something you guys have been spending a lot of time talking about as well, and that's going to be fascinating to see what happens with that in the last month. I think Mike Borgonzi and his staff have done a terrific job in free agency so far. I think that anybody that is trying to be objective about this is looking at building a foundation and really building an identity. You really build the talent of your team through the draft, and you complement and support that talent with leaders in free agency, and I think that's exactly what the team has done so far.
I meant to ask this before the segment started, and no is an acceptable answer. Do you have time for one more segment with us?
Yes.
Let's do it. Let's talk some NFL draft with Taylor Zarzour after this. Wrapping up the show on Ramon and Will. Appreciate you hanging out. Talk more NCAA tournament tomorrow. Spring practice continuing. We got to do a same faces, new places segment on that because, again, I also need a refresher on who is where. And Taylor, I imagine that that'll be a part of your prep process as well of like, oh, yeah, every quarterback is different in the SEC except for like 4 of them.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that.
We'll get there.
Let's just let's focus on the
first.
Masters and the Titans right now. I'm not ready to learn all the new quarterbacks in the Southeastern Conference just yet. But then again, I mean, you know this, college football, college basketball, SEC football especially, it is such a turnover now in this new era. I don't know that I love that, but that's where we are.
You got to pace yourself.
I know, man.
And reread what you read 4 months earlier because that's where I am at right now. I'm like, who's Florida quarterback? Yeah. Is Lenore Sellers still in South Carolina? Like, I've got a lot of questions. Who's Missouri's quarterback? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that would be Austin Simmons from Ole Miss. Again, see, there you go. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get
it's
there.
not time.
You have to be certifiably insane or Will Bowling and wake up at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, the Venn diagram between insane and me is just a circle. It's just the same circle. All right, let's talk NFL draft a little bit to wrap up the show here. Mel Kiper has a new mock draft out this morning as the Jeremiah Love at 4 to the Titans train gains a little bit of steam. He had that. PFF had a mock draft with the Titans trading up to take Jeremiah Love yesterday, which is interesting. We asked Matt Miller at ESPN yesterday, are the Titans ready for Jeremiah Love? And his answer was they're a heck of a lot more ready than they were 2 weeks ago. Where do you see Jeremiah Love potentially helping Cam Ward in this Titans offense with Brian Daboll?
Oh, boy. I mean, if that is the pick and that is the person that comes in here, I see him as the ultimate all-purpose back in 2026. I mean, Ramon, you've seen this throughout the course of your career. That running back position has evolved so much. Marshall Faulk was an outlier when he played. Now, I'm not saying there are a bunch of Marshall Faulks out there, but that position has become basically what Marshall Faulk did. You might not do it as well as he did it, but you look at like Jahmyr Gibbs, at Detroit, who played his last year at Alabama, was at Georgia Tech before that. He did some of that in college. He is doing so much of that in the National Football League. I think of Devon Achane with the Dolphins, who is this, I mean, he might be a better pass catcher than he is a runner. Right. And he's one of the first fantasy football selections because of that.
Absolutely.
I think, I'm not saying Love is Achane or he is... Christian
McCaffrey comes to mind.
That he's Gibbs. But yes, I think Christian McCaffrey, maybe that's the best example, actually.
In today's game, yeah.
But I think of Love in that way, Will, is somebody that, last year, Cam Ward was dumping the ball off quite a bit. And he was asking Tony Pollard and or Tajay Spears to get him out of some sort of trouble and dumping it off at the last minute. I think having that sort of safety net, if you will, is huge. And I think that's where Love is. I think he's a great running back, and he's a really, really good runner of the football. I think the reason why he's so coveted near the top of the board is because of his pass-catching skills that go with that.
He's a home run hitter. And I think a season ago with Ashton Genty going in the top 10, you have a more powerful, a bigger, a stronger, more bruiser back who could catch. But I don't know if his route tree is quite as deep, if that bag is quite as deep as what Jeremiah Love brings you. I'm also fascinated with Ramon's guy, Sonny Styles, who has drawn a lot of Fred Warner comparisons. And obviously, we know who the new head coach of the Titans is, the guy that has coached Fred Warner for quite some time in San Francisco, and Robert Saleh.
Listen, I'd be over the moon if they take Jeremiah Love. I would be really over the moon, too, if they took Sonny Styles. I think he's Luke Kuechly is who I think he is. I mean, spending so much time in Charlotte as I have and watching that tackling machine and all over the field, I mean, he really does. He reminds me of his game.
I know that look for Ramon. He's getting PTSD of blocking.
Yeah, that and just how he diagnosed.
Knowing where he is.
Him and TD together, man, were phenomenal together. And that's my vision for. Also, I don't want to get into a one-box draft pick scenario like we did with Cam, like we did with all.
Like we got options.
We got options now.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Keeping Sonny Styles in this because of where the defense is. you get an opportunity, this has been my stance the entire time, to put him in the middle and let him grow around Cam on the other side. You got your general on that side. Soon as Jeff phases out, then that's when he steps up even more. Taylor, you don't want to do this with me.
I know the fan base is going to want you started. I know the fan base is going to want a skill player or all fans want a skill player. I get that. But man, Sonny Styles is a great option as well. What's funny to me, guys, is I went to the combine and it was school was in session for me. First of all, in the car ride, Rhett, Brian, and Will Bowling talking about the draft, and Amy Wells never turning on the radio and just listening to this 3+ hour conversation between the two of them about the entirety of the National Football League's draft. And then you get there, and you've got guru after guru after guru that comes and sits down with us, and no one at the combine in late February said the Titans should take Sonny Styles. And no one said the Titans should take Jeremiah Love. Every single one of them said, go get a really good pass rusher / run stopper. Mike Tannenbaum came on and said, go get the best offensive lineman. None of them said, take Sonny Styles or Jeremiah Love. And here we are a month later, and the two of you are saying, take Jeremiah Love or Sonny Styles. Yeah. It's just funny to see the draft process and how it evolves and how all the prognosticators change their minds. Mike Borgonzi, the general manager, sat down with me, and he said, Taylor, don't listen to any of them. But it was very because we're right. It was very entertaining to listen to.
But we had Matt Miller on yesterday, and he also said this as well, which is why the conversation shifts. Their free agency changed a lot. It changed a lot of the projection as well, too. So that's the reason we're pivoting. And
there was a different reality in February.
Yeah, I mean, when the season ended, you knew that. Reuben Bain Jr. was the guy. Yeah, like everybody knew he was the guy. Now he's not. Well, is he? Taylor, what can you tell us?
Have you moved on, Will, from Reuben Bain?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I think it's Jeremiah Love as my first choice, and I would put Reuben Bain Jr. and Sonny Styles are kind of equal to me.
Yeah.
As plan B at this point. To me, it's the deployment of John Franklin Myers with Jermaine Johnson and Femi Oladejo, because I just think we, as a footballing people in this town, have been a little too dismissive of Femi just still being a second-round pick. I mean, that's a rich place to go believe in a player enough to select them, and I don't think you just replace that guy with a first-round pick 1 year later.
I think that's a really good point, and I really think Titans fans should look at it this way. If the Titans end up making 9 draft selections, they're really essentially making 11, because Kevin Winston and Femi Oladejo, for all intent and purposes, are rookies. Right. Yeah. I mean, they didn't. Winston played a few games, Femi played a few games, but really, I mean, it's kind of like Cedric Gray, who was a tackling machine last year. In all intent and purposes, he was a rookie last year. He played barely the year before due to injury. So I think that you have a couple of other young pups that you're essentially seeing as rookies as well, which is exciting. I know nothing about what the Titans are going to do with their draft. I know as much about that as I did about the Titans unveiling of a new logo and color scheme. Which I love, by the way.
I love your picture.
You should be pinched regardless of that.
Your new Twitter Avi in the helmet. It looks good.
I do look like a child that's about to get crushed. Yes, but everybody loves what the Titans have done in the last week. So do I.
Taylor Zarzer, voice the Titans, with us to wrap up the show. Appreciate you. Good to see you.
Boys are the best.
No doubt, man. But please remember at all times, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.